Yo, 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 welcome everybody. This is the IBT, Immortal Boxing Truth channel. We're just getting started right now. I don't believe there's anyone in here, but let me just check my audio really quick, make sure everything's going through nice and smoothly. We got a couple topics here today to cover, and it seems like the audio is fine, but as you can tell by the title, there's been some news circulating in the boxing world, basically, and I'd like to cover it. So first on the agenda, there is Derevyanchenko has been sent offers reportedly by both Team Canelo and Jermall Charlo. So the Jermall Charlo bout would be for the WBC title at 160, and the Derevyanchenko would be for no title, the WBA regular title at 168. Both of those fights are good, although for me personally, I would prefer the Charlo one, just as I feel he needs a real test at 160, and I do feel that's more of a 50-50 fight or a more competitive fight than Derevyanchenko versus Canelo would be at 168. Yo, L-Dub, what's good, man? How you doing? L-Dub and L-Dog in the building. That's what's up. All right, let me know if you guys want to join the panel. Apparently, StreamYard had this update where you can have like 10 people on the panel. So that's pretty cool, although it's extremely chaotic. Yeah, so first, yeah, like I said, the Derevyanchenko versus Canelo or Charlo, I think both of them are great matchups. Personally, I would enjoy watching them both. I would tune into both. However, I would slightly prefer the Charlo fight, and I do think that that's the fight that's going to happen. I think that fight is easier to make because both fighters are under the PBC banner. So it'll be an in-house fight. Essentially, these two will not have to worry about any promotional deals getting involved or any, getting stuck in negotiations like that. Granted, he is coming off of a loss to Derevyanchenko, but it was a very competitive and highly contested loss versus Triple G for the IBF title, the vacant title. Many people felt Derevyanchenko made Triple G look old, or that or that Triple G robbed Derevyanchenko. It was very competitive and close fight. I haven't watched it since it happened, so I remember having Derevyanchenko winning, but if I rescored it, maybe I would have Triple G. It was very competitive. That's what I remember. And that first round where he went down surely didn't help him at all. He got dropped in the first round and cut in the second round, and he managed to look very impressive. Even after both of those things happening to him, when he was turning Triple G, working the body, going upstairs, downstairs, just making sure he wouldn't get hit. He's very responsible defensively. But, Triple G hits really hard, so he was still getting tagged up. Eldar, what's up, man?
Hey, what's up, IBT?
No, I'm doing well. How are you doing?
Good man, good man. Been a while.
It's been a bit. What are your thoughts on this, on the situation? Just what fight would you prefer? What do you think about the weight classes? What do you think about the matchups?
I'm gonna be honest. I think I'd prefer the Charlo fight, but at the same time, if Derevyanchenko doesn't take the Canelo fight, he might not ever get it. Just because there's a lot of people in the line to face Canelo, you may as well take it.
Yeah, it's not a short list of names. Realistically, if he is a front runner and he declines, he gets put in the back of the line, and who knows, like you said, if he gets another shot, right? So in terms of wanting to maximize opportunity, it would be the Canelo fight. But I feel like if he doesn't really care to fight Canelo, that's not something that particularly worries him, if he more wants to just kind of have his own legacy, I do think the Charlo fight would be the way to go. It'll probably pay pretty well. Not nearly as much as Canelo, obviously, but I just think that it's a more winnable fight as well. Marlon Machine, what's up, man?
Yeah, I mean, I actually think Derevyanchenko has a better chance to beat Canelo than Golovkin right now. Considerably better chance as well. I actually think Derevyanchenko might be his hardest fight, or one of his hardest fights around that weight, especially if it happens at 160.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think stylistically, Derevyanchenko can actually provide a lot of problems for Canelo, especially that the angles he uses. If he switches up those angles, it's going to be hard for Canelo to throw those counterpunch combinations where he really needs to set the trap. So I think Derevyanchenko, I mean, even though I'd favor Canelo to win just because, I mean, Canelo is one of the best boxers in the last, you know, I want to say decade. Yeah, I would favor him to win, but I think at 160 that's a damn good fight. That's like a 7-5, 8-4 type of fight with some close rounds.
Yeah, I do think it'd be pretty competitive. Interestingly enough, a lot of people saying like they don't want Derevyanchenko to compete at 168, but I believe he's only had of all of his fights, I think maybe 9 or 10 of them have been above the middleweight limit. So I don't think he would be uncomfortable fighting at super middleweight, to be honest. He does have similar dimensions to Canelo, but I personally disagree on how the matchup would go down. But I do see your points, and I see how that could be difficult.
I'm telling, like, I think Canelo wins, but you know, Derevyanchenko, he's got a lot of good experience now. 24 rounds against Jacobs and Golovkin. Like, I think that that'll help him out, but I just think stylistically, the combination punches, the angles he's using, the kind of flurries with the speed, I think that's going to cause Canelo a lot of problems. But again, I'd favor Canelo to win.
Yeah, yeah, I would as well. I favor him against everyone at 160, 168, and most fighters at 175, with the exception of possibly Bivol or Better Biev, right? That's what everyone general consensus. Some people think he can even beat Better Biev or Bivol. I haven't done a breakdown on that, but either way, even those fights I think would be competitive. So
I mean, I don't think a Beterbiev fight would be very competitive at 175.
you don't think
I
so?
think, yeah, Canelo better boxer, but Beterbiev too big, too strong. I think he would just.
Vozik was winning on points before he got caught, and I thought Vozik looked a little gun shy.
Vosdik is better at boxing than Canelo on the outside. I think like he's longer. Yeah, he uses his feet more than Canelo. Canelo likes to kind of stand there a little bit, throw those combinations, set you into traps. Not going to work against Beterbiev because Beterbiev he'll just keep coming, walk you down. Throwing punches, wearing you down. So
Yeah,
I don't know.
it's a really tough matchup either way. But so on this topic,
I
right?
actually think Vosdik actually would be a damn good fight for Canelo if he didn't retire. That would
I
have been
did
a
I
very
did
good
too,
fight.
but yeah, but he retired. I was actually because a lot of people when we were ranking the light heavyweights post that fight, a lot of people just completely would exclude or forget Vosdik. Like you'd have to bring him up, and
I
they'd be like,
think
"Oh yeah,
Vosdik could beat the
Vosdik."
shit out of Canelo. Like
No, no, I don't quite
he's
think. Not at this point.
huge.
Not at this point.
He's huge though, and he's super long as well, man. That guy's like 6'3". He's got a huge reach advantage. He'll know how to use it. I mean, the guy had power to the point where he damn near killed someone. I I think he'd just stay on the outside, throw those straight punches and keep moving.
Yeah. I mean, that's kind of like the thing with Vosdik. I actually favored him going into the Bitter Bia fight, but he just got caught, or I don't know, maybe the Stevenson fight might have messed him up a little. But to kind of go back onto the topic with the Derevyanchenko and Canelo, right? You said you would you would rather see the Charlo versus Derevyanchenko. Is that because it's at 160, or you just think the matchup is more interesting?
Well, to be honest, I think Derevyanchenko is one of the best boxers not to have a world title right now. Who's been at contender level and has been at that world title level almost. So I would like to see him get a world title, and I think his best chance at that is probably to fight Charlo. I mean, Charlo, in my opinion, is nowhere near the boxer Canelo is. Canelo is a beast. Canelo is seriously, definitely a top 3 pound for pound fighter today. And in my opinion, you really have to put him at number 1. Like,
Yeah, I
you
agree.
really have to put him at number 1 if you're going off a resume and skills and recency and all that. I mean, so I think Canelo, would beat him, but Charlo, that's a good fight. But I actually think Derevyanchenko would beat him pretty easily, to be honest.
I
Like
think,
it'd be tough, but I think he'd win clearly. That's what I mean to say.
yeah, I think it would be a competitive fight, but I do favor Derevyanchenko, like 60-40 kind of thing. I think he could win 8-4, like 8-4 rounds. You know what I mean? 116, 112.
I think
That
he'll
that
win
kind of
wider
score.
than that even because I mean, look at how Charlo fights, right? Pretty basic behind the jab a lot. But I mean, Derevyanchenko has had success against guys with a good jab like Jacobs and Golovkin.
Triple G
I,
is a much better jab, in my
yeah,
opinion.
and I think having that experience would help Derevyanchenko out. I just think Derevyanchenko, we saw Charlo really struggle against Korobov. Now, granted, Korobov is a southpaw, but I think the angles that Derevyanchenko gives, the speed, the experience he has, I think that would really give Charlo some problems.
Yeah. Really quickly, let me just introduce Unrivaled. How you doing?
Hey, how's it going?
What's up, Mark?
Not much. How are you guys doing?
Salute.
Just chilling. Yeah, salute, man. You got any
So,
thoughts on this topic, Mark?
I only got in, saw the title, and clicked it. So where are we?
We're just at the Derevyanchenko versus Canelo or Charlo. So let me ask you, which matchup do you prefer? And I'm sure you know already, but just in case you don't, Derevyanchenko versus Charlo would be at 160 for the WBC title, and
And Canelo and Derevyanchenko be at 168, correct?
yeah, that's right.
Yeah, so obviously I prefer the Charlo fight. He's a natural 160 pounder. It's a world title fight. It's not for a regular title.
Mhm.
If Canelo's playing his trade outside of the middleweight division, that's 2 of the top 4 guys there. Or at least 2 of the top 5 based off of current rankings of belts, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
He had a very good fight last time out, Derevyanchenko with Golovkin. Admittedly, a lot of Golovkin fans say that he was sick. But he tends to be sick in all of the fights where he performs poorly, right?
Yeah, I was gonna say
Okay.
he
has a
tends
flu
to be
every
sick
fight.
versus elite level fighters.
Yeah, he's
Now,
always
to
got the
be
flu.
fair, right, I
Hold
agree
on.
with you.
I know what you're gonna say. To be fair, like you've seen videos of him coming out and he looked a little bit different to how he normally looks, right?
I mean, I saw him hoiking up snot and spitting that shit out.
Okay, so he was sick against Derevyanchenko. Whatever. Um Derevyanchenko still put on a very good performance versus him. He knows how to use his angles and volume to, get past that stiff jab of Golovkin's, who, in my opinion, Golovkin has the best jab at 160.
Yeah,
People
I
can
agree.
fight me on that. I think he does actually have the best jab at 160. A lot of people hype Jamal Charlo's jab. It's solid. It's solid. It's quite athletic. It's got good timing to it. But we've seen guys who have good timing off of stepping off and moving to the side, like Matty Korobov, neutralized that jab very well. And Derevyanchenko also possesses that same skill. I think it's a very challenging fight for Charlo. And that's the reason I'd like to see it, because it would legitimize Charlo as a world champion at 160. It would legitimize his resume, be a hell of an opponent. The only guys who've beaten him are elite level guys in Danny and Golovkin in around those weight divisions. So that's the reason I'd prefer to see it. With Canelo, I don't want to see him bringing a middleweight up to 168. If Canelo's going to fight at 168 and you can't get Billy Joe or you can't get Callum Smith or whatever, fight John Ryder. He gave that kid a payday. He deserves it. He gave Callum Smith the hardest fight of his career, bar none. So there you go.
Yeah.
Fact.
Yeah. And kind of to your point, Mark, I do feel like his Jamal Charlo's jab is good. I just feel like it's a little basic at times. And like Intangelo brought up in the comments, he doesn't even fight behind the jab. He kind of uses the jab to get in and not really start brawling, but just like land big shots. And to
Depends
me,
on the fight. Some
Yeah.
fights he has fought behind his jab. The only thing about his jab is there's no variance in its rhythm, and
Yeah.
that's a problem. He doesn't know how to. Let's say you're fighting Derevyanchenko, right? Rhythm is a very good thing against him because he fights offbeat, right? So if you know how to change the variance of your jab and go offbeat to onbeat, you'll have a much easier time jabbing him. You will. If you just have the same rhythm over and over again, he's going to get up and under that. You know.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. The Charlo brothers are quite one-dimensional.
Yeah.
Now they're athletic, sure, they've got power, they're young, they're big, but they are one-dimensional. And we know Derevyanchenko can deal with power, right? He's been the distance with Golovkin and Jacobs.
And he's been dropped and gotten up off the canvas, and
Yeah,
after he gets off of the canvas, he suddenly comes to life.
yeah. I swear look. If I had to make an in-depth prediction, I'll say this: he gets dropped early by Charlo, comes back, and probably loses a close, but poor decision. You know, like a shit one.
Well, I think Jamal should take a little bit of a leaf, not out of Golovkin or Jacobs' book if he were to fight him, but Jack O'Kay, Golden Jack, he fought very well against him. He made use of Derevyanchenko. When Derevyanchenko comes forward, right, he has a problem if you step off to the side to fire a hook, he resets his feet. And Colquet used that a lot. So he kept making him overstep. He'd go out, he'd come forward to try and get inside, and you step out to the side. Then he resets, and then there's a blind spot there for that hook to the body.
Man, I don't think Charlo got the boxing IQ to do that though. Like whenever I see the Charlos fight, they're always throwing that one big punch, trying to get the sensational knockout. You know,
I've seen him do it earlier in his career and in the amateurs. I just
they've
like
got
to
too
see
much
him.
bravado. That's what it is.
I get that. I know what you're talking about. You're talking about the idea of ignorance. So being ignorant within his own skills or whatever. But am I the only one who actually saw adaptation from Jamal when he fought against Korobov? Because earlier in that fight, Korobov was beating him very easily every time with the jab, and then he made a quick change to his foot placement. And instead of coming in straight lines, he'd come in at a slight angle to then step off to be able to create more of an opening. So it was no longer about foot position control because he was losing that. It was more so about making Korobov come in with the feet so that he could already have his feet in position to be able to take over from the jab. And that was
Korobov
something
is
that I thought,
old.
right, that's just you pulling a fighter down instead of giving credit. That was something that is actually ring IQ based. That has nothing to do with age. That's got everything to do with your understanding of feet positioning, and that's how he managed to at least get a draw. Otherwise, he would have lost that fight. Am I the only one who saw that?
So he did make some adaptations in that fight, although I didn't feel like they were super significant to me. What I saw a lot was kind of what Eldar was saying, to piggyback off that. My main issue with Charlo in these matchups versus Andre, Canelo, Triple G, Derevyanchenko is I feel he puts too much into a single shot, even if it's a jab. He'll really commit to that jab, and he'll really commit to the right hand, or he'll really commit to the hook, or whatever punch he's doing. He puts a lot of weight into it, which is good when it lands. But even versus guys like Brandon Adams, they were able to go all 12 because he was essentially just on defensive mode the whole time and slipping and just, clinching and stuff like that, which ends up kind of exposing him to this, or makes him seem like a linear fighter or a one-dimensional fighter, right?
Completely agree.
So with Korobov, I saw him jabbing once a lot, and Korobov would either parry it or he would just start out jabbing Charlo early. But towards later in the fight, he started to double jab, and I felt like the idea that he wasn't putting 100% power, 70% power with two jabs was far more effective than just this one big spear jab, because it wouldn't land, or it would get parried, or if it landed, he would get he would eat a left hand as well. So
But did you notice earlier in that fight when he was doing the singular jabs while they were being parried, right?
Hmm.
The reason they were easily parried or easily moved away was because Korobov was always getting his feet into the right position. But when he was going into the later rounds in that fight, he changed where his feet were placing when he was jabbing with Korobov so that he'd always be in a better angle for himself using his length. And I thought that was smart. I thought that was good adaptation, and that's what pretty much got him the fucking result in the end, whether he deserved it or not. Because if he hadn't have done that, he would have lost.
Yeah, and to your point, I did like a little analysis on this and I wrote stuff down because I tend to forget a lot. But Korobov began to get really comfortable with just kind of letting the left hand go because it was landing quite consistently in the first 6 rounds. But as the fight progressed, and especially in the later rounds, there were a couple times where he actually, whether he baited or reacted, he saw that the left hand was coming and he was able to catch and shoot it a couple times, which that's kind of part of his adaptations made, as well as the double jab and, moving his feet placement and the way he's entering the pocket versus Korobov. I just, with Derevyanchenko, I feel he's a little more spry. He's a little more mobile in the pocket. Like Intangible pointed out, he's not really, Derevyanchenko actually fights in the pocket, right? So he's not going to be like Korobov in the sense that he's going to be trying to fight on the outside. He's really going to be fighting in the pocket. And the issue there as well for Charlo is that he likes to be flat-footed on the inside and unload these big shots. So if you can catch Derevyanchenko, he's a strong guy, so that might work. But I don't think you'll see a lot of success doing that over and over again because he is flat-footed. Derevyanchenko will be able to rotate around him like he did in the Triple G fight.
I agree. I mean, Charlo has started to make his shots a lot wider and more powerful and cumbersome since he's gone to 160, but something he really had in spades at 154 was that short uppercut in the pocket, and he seemed to completely abandon it. It was one of his best tools to be able to get inside fighters away from him.
Yeah, and that's what we saw, the big highlight, him versus J-Rock, right? Just a spectacular catch and shoot uppercut, and he has J-Rock instantly drunk, and that's the big knockout, but I almost feel like because of that knockout, he didn't take away how good that uppercut was. He took away, wow, I'm really strong. Let me fire off these big shots, and I just don't quite agree.
And yeah, he has beautiful technique on that short uppercut, doesn't he?
It's
beautiful.
Fantastic.
I'll actually be honest. I think that's his best punch. And it's not even from that fight. I've seen him use it earlier on in his career in the amateurs. He's really, really fast with it. It's a very quick. It's so snappy. And he should be using it against inside fighters, but for some stupid reason he doesn't. He's
Especially
just thinking about his power.
Exactly, especially against Derevyanchenko, like we're talking about, wants to fight on the inside. I think it'd be highly effective. And I don't think this fight, I don't think the conclusion is foregone. I do favor Derevyanchenko, but Charlo has a legitimate chance of catching him, even dropping him, right? We've seen him get dropped versus Triple G.
I think he has the option of knocking him out, to be honest.
Possibly with the uppercut, right? If he's able to land that. But kind of what you're talking about, he's drifted away from that, focusing more on his power, these big shots. His punches are not, like a little more wide. He has a great chin, so I don't see Derevyanchenko stopping him. But
well, that's not a fair assessment that he has a great chin because he hasn't been in there with any mega punchers yet.
That's fair enough, but I mean the sheer amount of counter.
I don't think his chin is fully tested.
I think it's tested enough to where I can say he's not going to get wobbled just from like a stray punch.
I know that, but I also know that Derevyanchenko possesses enough power to make Golovkin keel over in pain. And I also know that he has enough power to hurt Danny Jacobs not once, not twice, but 3 times wobble him.
Yeah, I mean, that's true, but I think Derevyanchenko has very solid power. I think he'll see more success working the body than he will if he tried to headhunt.
Fair.
Well, my biggest problem with Charlo is not only that he's one-dimensional, but that the guy doesn't set up his punches very well. I don't really see, like, he throws these one big shots and everything, but he's not feinting or probing or setting some pattern to then set it up, It's just extremely basic. I think Derevyanchenko is going to read him like a book and beat him up. Piece him up. All right. Don't get me wrong. Because of Charlo's size, athleticism, youth, I mean, he'll win a couple rounds, but I think it's going to be pretty clear.
Let me quickly just add actual facts. What's up, man? How you doing?
Hey guys, what's going on? Hey, you can hear me?
Yeah, you good? Coming through clearly.
All right, cool. You know how my connection be, man. It's fucking boost. What's up, fellas?
What's
Yeah,
up,
what's
man?
up, man?
What's going on, man? What are you guys
Were
talking
you-
about, man? Because
Okay.
I
Yeah.
just
So
I just came in. I'm sorry.
let me fill you in. I'm not sure if you know, probably do, but Derevyanchenko has reportedly been reached out by both Team Canelo and Team Charlo about a fight at 160 for the WBC title or 168 for the WBA Regular title, respectively. What fight do you prefer to see, and what fight do you think will happen?
All right. Oh yeah. You mentioned that earlier, and I was like, you know what? I don't think that Charlo and Derevyanchenko fight happens, right? I think moreover it's gonna be Canelo and Derevyanchenko. Um, but if it just so happens to be Charlo and a Derevyanchenko, I don't think Charlo has displayed the pop lately at 160 to get a strong, durable guy like a Derevyanchenko out, right? You see Triple G, he landed some really good, clean shots on Derevyanchenko when he could. And he ate them shits. And I think, still Triple G, I don't care what anybody say, he still has a monstrous jab. He still is a monstrous puncher, even at the old age. Is it sustainable for all 12 rounds for Triple G? I don't think so. For the first 6 rounds, I think Triple G has that knockout power, but after that, I don't think he does anymore, in my opinion. So with a Charlo versus Derevyanchenko, man, I think I see Derevyanchenko just easily just outboxing Charlo, man, to UD. I don't know. I don't see Charlo hasn't shown me or displayed anything that would lead me to believe that he'd win that fight against Derevyanchenko. I'm sorry, and I'm not even trying to be a hater or anything like that. It's just that's how I see it, man.
Yeah, no, I mean we
On the other
agree with
hand,
you.
and then on the other hand, with a Canelo and a Derevyanchenko, man, I think that's an exciting fight. I actually like that fight. I think a Derevyanchenko and a Canelo fight is actually going to be more exciting than the Derevyanchenko and the Charlo, man, because you've already seen that when Charlo faces a boxer, someone with a good amount of experience with them, say for instance like a Trout and a Korobov, he has not shown this knockout ability that everyone has, that he has displayed against other lesser opponents, and everyone has, been saying like, even at 160 he's gonna get stronger. Even at 168, he's gonna get stronger. I haven't seen it. I think a Canelo and the Derevyanchenko fight, it makes more sense for the Derevyanchenko side and the Canelo side, being that Derevyanchenko, he's about that same height as a Canelo. He's very, very agile. Has a lot of weapons. I think it's gonna be a really good fight. I just see Canelo being too much for Derevyanchenko and possibly stopping Derevyanchenko in the late rounds.
Yeah, I see
I
that.
can see that happen, but I can give Derevyanchenko, I can see Derevyanchenko easily frustrating Canelo too. He's done it before with other good boxers that lean and bend at the waist. If you've seen the fight with Brian Castano, he outbended at the waist, Derevyanchenko there, and he kind of out hustled them between Castano and Derevyanchenko in their fight, and which led to Castano's victory, right? So I think Canelo gets Derevyanchenko out there in the late rounds, but I wouldn't get it past Derevyanchenko if he can stay in there with a Canelo and stay all 12 rounds. Maybe make Canelo look bad in there, in certain moments of the fight. I can see that, but I think it's a more exciting fight. It's a more intriguing fight, in my opinion.
All right, I can see that. Intangible, what's up, man?
Yo, what's happening, fellas?
What's up? What's up? Have you been?
What's up, man?
You know the topic, right?
Yeah, Derevyanchenko versus Canelo with Charlo. I'd be more intrigued to see the Charlo fight because I think there's more at stake in that fight, and it's more competitive in my opinion. I think Canelo's style is a little bit less. It doesn't cater to Derevyanchenko's strengths the way Charlo's does. And I think Canelo would probably get him out of there late. And he'd probably just work the body on him because he is a bit reckless and tends to open up quite a bit at mid-range. But Charlo is not a guy who's going to be able to capitalize on that because he doesn't fight at mid-range. He fights on the outside. And Derevyanchenko is going to get past his jab because he fights with angles and lets his hands go very well, body and head, has good power as well. I could see possibly Charlo timing him and knocking him out, similarly to how Colque was able to time him very well throughout the entire fight, basically. But also Charlo, I don't think is quite as coordinated as he is. Doesn't have quite as good technique, anticipation. And I just see Derevyanchenko winning a clear decision in that fight. Now, Derevyanchenko is the true definition of a B-side fighter, and he tends to get the short end of the stick on the fights where he participates against A-side fighters. But I don't think Charlo carries.
Now, Intangible,
Go ahead.
I just put you there, Intangible, real quick. Now, you're saying a B-level fighter as far as in the way he's treated, right? Derevyanchenko has been treated as a B-level fighter. However, you're not saying that because he is, top quality, A-level opponent, even though he's not that A-level star, so to speak. I think.
Sure, but when I say B-side fighter, nobody's going to be investing in him the way somebody would invest in a Triple G or a Canelo or
Right.
Charlo.
Right. Yeah. That's where I was.
Just the financials,
That's
not
the
the
logic.
actual skill set in the ring.
Right.
I think he's elite
okay.
at middleweight, but he does not have the financial backing or fan base like a Charlo does or Triple G or Canelo.
Yeah,
No, I know what he meant. I know what you meant, Intangible. I was just clearing that up for our audience or for the Playback Gang, whoever, I don't want them to misconstrue our words here, your words, everybody's word. I just want the facts our opinions are not misconstrued. It's clear.
Look, I mean, I just see it like this. I mean, I personally thought the fix was in the Triple G Derevyanchenko fight because there is no way, there is no circumstance or possible coincidence that three people under the same occupation standing ringside could all be in agreement that Triple G won that fight. I can't see it. But also, I pretty much stated my views on that. I like the Charlo fight a bit more. I think it's a little bit more. I think there's more at stake, like I said, and he's going to have to go up to 168 to fight Canelo. I think 160 is probably going to be his best weight class.
Sorry, can you repeat that?
Yeah, I think I can agree that is definitely more at stake with the Charlo fight. Yeah.
I had to restate. Okay, yeah. Canelo fight. Whoa, man, I forgot what I said. Okay.
Are you saying Canelo's best weight will be 168?
I said Derevyanchenko's best weight is 160, not 168.
Okay. I thought you said his best weight was 168. I was gonna ask you to elaborate on that, but
yeah, sometimes on this computer my audio cuts off.
no, that's fine. It's fine. I just think I misheard, but yeah. Okay, so I don't know if there's much else to cover here. I think it'll be a great matchup. They're both under PBC, actually, so it's pretty likely that it'll happen, especially since Derevyanchenko is the number one in the WBC rankings. So, similar to what Mark said earlier, I think this legitimizes him as a real champion at 160, not like a paper champion. This would by far be his best win. And if he were to beat Derevyanchenko, I think he's comfortably in the top 3 at middleweight. Whereas right now, you could arguably have him as low as number 5, right? You could really say Canelo, Triple G, Andrade, or Derevyanchenko are above him, and you would have a valid argument for that. Whether or not that's what you believe, it's it's something that's likely. But let me just introduce Raider from LA. What's up, man? How you doing?
What's up? Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
You're a little bit quiet though.
Yeah.
Oh, my bad. I don't know if you guys can hear me. Hold on.
Just gonna wait for him to get situated.
Hello?
Yeah, hello.
Yes,
Can you guys hear me now?
very better.
Yeah,
Oh,
much better.
my bad. It's because I had the fucking Bluetooth in my car, man.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
You're on the
Oh,
road.
you doing that?
Fuck. Hey, let me call you guys. Let me call you. I
Yeah.
gotta do some shit. Somebody's calling me. I gotta take this call.
That's fine.
All
That's
right.
fine. I'll just removed him. But now that's just I don't know where actual facts went. But if he's here, if he comes back, thanks for coming on. Regardless, appreciate you coming on as well. Intangible. We got the next topic, which is Ugas versus Abel Ramos for the WBA title at welterweight. Right? What do you make of that?
Now, not a huge fan of that fight. Although I'm not sure what the because I know for a vacant belt, it's the number 1 and number 2 in the rankings that go for it. I don't know what it takes for for two fighters to go for a vacant WBA regular belt. I mean, it may just be completely, utterly random. But this is probably the best fight for it. I would have preferred Butaev, or maybe even best Putin could step in with him. Somebody else, but not Abel Ramos. I just, whatever. I don't really have. There's not really much to look for in this matchup except Ugas to win.
Yeah, I mean, I gotta agree with you there. I mean, it's pretty much, so to speak, the proverbial ham and egg fighter, right? For Ugas. I haven't. Ramos doesn't really strike me as a guy that can do anything to Ugas. I don't know.
Yeah,
Do
I
you see
agree.
anything different?
No, I think
see it a 3-round wash. It's gonna be a 3-round wash, and
to me, I'm very happy.
it's pretty much giving the belt to Ugas. I don't know.
Yeah.
You just
That's
fought
the way
another
I feel.
Mike Dallas Jr.
But my thing is, why is it that Ugas gets to fight Ramos? Why isn't Ugas fighting Butaev? Why is it Butaev is fighting the winner of Ramos and Ugas? I don't understand that.
I have no
If one of
clue.
y'all can help me out there.
Yeah, no.
I don't know.
I thought this fight would be between Ugas and Butaev, right? A lot of people were saying Ugas and Mikey Garcia because 1 versus 3, while Danny Garcia, number 2, fights Spence, right? So people were getting hyped for that matchup, but I knew it wouldn't happen because they would have another situation like they do at heavyweight right now, where because Butaev lost to the champion who popped dirty, he kind of deserves another chance. So they do give him another chance, but they also the other day they added Abel Ramos to number 6 in the rankings. So don't let the rankings deceive you now. Say, oh well, he's been ranked. He has not been ranked, and
No.
L Dub will tell you about
That's
this.
what I'm saying.
He follows this stuff pretty closely, but I think Ramos is not a great opponent. I think it's a great opportunity for Ugas, and I'm happy for him to get the title shot. I think he's deserved one since he he lost to Sean Porter, but it was pretty controversial, pretty close, and very competitive. Either way, I don't know why they put Ramos there as like an in between. I just thought it'd be between Butaev and Ugas. I thought that'd be a good enough matchup, but for some reason, they just stuck Ramos in the middle.
It's because whoever Abel Ramos' promoter is, or maybe himself, paid them and paid for a ranking. That's exactly what happened, in my opinion. I don't know who he's beaten to get up in the rankings. I looked at his box rec earlier. He's been fighting mostly journeymen, so I don't see how he's got up in the rankings.
I mean, it's painfully obvious. They bought his ranking. Just to have him up there. I mean, I've seen some of his fights, and he does not impress me. He's not a fighter that warrants a shot at a WBA title, maybe a domestic title. Where he's from? Yeah, what country he's from? I forget.
He is American.
Hey, watch. I forgot about Abel Ramos, really. I mean, this kid, I seen him a couple times, and he didn't impress me whatsoever. He has 26 victories, right?
26
no,
wins, 3
yeah,
losses, 2 draws, and 20 wins by knockout and 1 loss by knockout. He's lost to Prograis. He lost to Ivan Branchik.
Yeah.
And relatively, like a couple years ago, he lost to Alvaro.
Yeah, every time he
Ortiz. Yes.
That's what it is. Every time this guy steps up to somebody irrelevant, he loses.
Oh, sorry, he lost to
He's that
Jamal
kind of guy.
James. I just missaw. He lost to Jamal James, Baranchik, and Prograis. So exactly, you got it right. You're right on the head of the nail.
Well,
This was
my absolute shock.
This was the guy. Oh, this is my bad. I was gonna say in 2000. I knew it. A fight. This is when I first saw Maurice Hooker on TV in 2014, and that was a bullshit draw. They fucking robbed Hooker of that victory. I remember that.
Yeah, he also fought.
Yep.
Yeah, exactly. Maurice Hooker in 2014, which was a draw. At this
That
point, it was an
fucking draw.
8-rounder
It was a bullshit
fight.
draw.
I don't believe he's had a 12-round fight in his career. Certainly not one that he's won. Yeah, he's never been 12 rounds as a professional. And in 2018, I haven't seen this, especially for a fighter that is, like an active fighter. If you look here, it says in 2018,
after the
he beat unknown.
after the seventh.
And according to my research and to my absolute shock, I found out that he's never beaten anybody in the WBA top 15 rankings.
But he's number 6, though.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, Lawrence Williams
That's
saying
what
that
I'm saying,
Butaev
man.
did not get the
it's
fight.
painfully obvious,
Yeah, exactly. It's clearly bought out and not even like hiding it slightly. L-Dub here said Butaev didn't get it for 2 reasons. Travel restrictions, and the PBC is working with the WBA heavy right now. And that's something I kind of been looking at with L-Dub, not necessarily working together, but on Twitter and stuff, you can kind of just see people get hype about Ugas versus Mikey Garcia. I knew that wasn't going to happen. He knew that wasn't going to happen. But the Butaev thing I thought was going to happen, and he pointed out to me, not me specifically, but he pointed out online that they put Abel Ramos at number 6, so it might be him. And then sure enough, it is. So what's up, Raider? Are you doing good now? You back? Everything's all...
Yeah. No, it's because I was at the fucking bank and my mechanic fucking called me because my engine blew out of my truck, so I'm fixing it.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, no, but what's up? What's cracking, guys?
Yeah, we're just talking about Ugas and the WBA thing. How do you feel about him getting this title shot?
Ugas and who?
Ugas versus Abel Ramos.
Abel Ramos. I don't know who that is.
He's number 6 in the WBA and number 20 on box.
You don't remember him? LA, he was. He's that guy that got the gift draw over Maurice Hooker, and Maurice Hooker like one of the first fights Maurice Hooker fought. Like I think that was actually Maurice Hooker's debut. Right?
Also,
sounds familiar, but yeah, I can't pinpoint it. You know what I mean? I don't want to fucking lie and be like, oh yeah, that dude.
Yeah, and Abel Ramos' last opponent in the year of 2018 lost a fight against Luis Collazo.
Yeah. But then again, Luis Collazo ain't no walk in the park. He's a solid dude, Luis Collazo. But the thing is, man, that dude sucks. This dude right here, Abel Ramos sucks, man. He fucking sucks. It's a padded record. He's a fucking walk padded record. That's what he is, for all intents and purposes.
Every time he's stepped up, he has come up short, or against Maurice Hooker, like Actual Facts said just here. Against notable names, let me see. Maurice Hooker, draw. Prograis, loss. Ivan Branchik, loss. And Jamal James, loss. Everyone else is relatively unknown, or they have mediocre records. So this is a guy I think Ugas will smoke. Certainly he becomes the WBA titleist. And then after this, he will be mandated to fight Butaev, who is a good fighter in his own right, but I also favor Ugas in that matchup. For me, I just don't really like the fact that they tied his hands up with 2 matches already, and they're not necessarily high-level matches, but they are title fights. So I'm glad he's getting the title shot, and I don't believe there's been a Cuban welterweight champion in a long time. So, it's a lot of pride for him.
Yeah, man.
Well, unfortunately for him, it's a WBA regular belt.
Yeah.
Nice way to represent Jose Nopolis there, but just
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Luis Collazo is good, by the way, like Lisa Bell's said here. But he was, I think that was 3 years after he'd lost to Thurman, and he was coming off of being very inactive, or like a year inactive or something. So basically just saying that even if far past his prime, Collazo is beating the same guys that Abel Ramos is. And I know a lot of people have been calling this a Crawford duck, but I went on a live stream earlier and I voiced this. I don't really feel that this is a duck of Crawford. He's fighting in a title fight, whether it be a regular title, right? If it's an interim title, then maybe I could see that, because interim titles don't really mean much unless they come with mandatory status, and even then, why would you do that if someone's offering you a title shot? But to be fair, I haven't even heard that he's been sent an actual offer, so I can't call that a duck, in my opinion.
Oh my God! I just saw a title that said Canelo Alvarez ducking Jamal Charlo again. Open negotiations to fight Derevyanchenko.
It's like their algorithm, They have to put it like that so they can get some kind of views. The usual 5 to 7 views or whatever they get for their little videos now.
Oh, this video.
Anybody that Canelo fights, he's ducking somebody.
Yeah, look, that's the thing with big fighters like Canelo. If he fights somebody, they're ducking this guy, and if he fights fighter A, then he's ducking fighter B, and if he fights fighter B, he's ducking fighter A.
Yeah, to be honest, I mean, just looking from my research, I think Canelo's legitimately ducking Tyson Fury, bruh. Like,
he's ducking the Gypsy King. Yeah,
yeah, he's ducking the Canelo's a dosser. That's really what it is.
He is.
I'm not going to show Canelo any pound for pound respect until he defeats Emmanuel Tagoe, a true heavyweight champion.
Exactly.
Then 2 months later, he has to drop back down, all the way back down to see Nonito Donaire.
Yeah. Really, Nonito was robbed against Inoue, and he's a Hall of Famer that Canelo is ducking. So.
Nah, Tank Davis.
Yeah, you're right. Tank Davis.
Tank Davis, in reality, is probably a middleweight. He probably walks around at middleweight. And, I mean, that's a fighter that we should all get behind. So, I mean, he should definitely fight.
Yeah, get behind Stank Mavis. Get behind that guy, Stank Mavis. Stinking bastard.
Yeah, I think people like to call Tank a walking middleweight, but I like to call him walking overweight. I think it's more accurate.
Well, I mean, you got to add some
machine.
You got to add some type of a heavier weight than a lightweight to add insult to injury.
And I'm just kidding. That guy blows up between. I really don't like him, but I don't want to talk about that.
When I seen him in person, at the MGM down at the National Hall, I was like, yo, Tank, you was too small to be fighting big old dudes in the bar. You easily get rolled up and tossed in the fucking garbage can, my dude. Stop it. I don't care how fast your hands are. Somebody grabbed, it was like, I think Blood said it. I grab you up and I fucking monkey toss you in the dumpster, dude.
That dude in the off season is built like a penguin.
Yeah, man. He just fucking waddles. He fucking waddles everywhere. I'm telling you, when I seen him, I was like, yo, how is this motherfucker professional fight? He's fat.
And you got those short arms. Dude. Yeah. I haven't been to a fight before. Although I was going to go to Hooker versus Prograis, but that was scrapped, so unfortunately.
And then what made it worse, he had on all white. He looked like a hairless Sasquatch in the summer. You know what I'm saying? Like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Fat ass. Yeah, man. Looking crazy.
Yes.
Hey, so I didn't hear what you guys were saying about the Derevyanchenko Charlo. You guys rather see Derevyanchenko fight
Oh.
Charlo or Canelo?
I said I prefer to see the Charlo fight, although I like both matchups a lot. I just prefer to see Charlo because I feel like it's a little more even. The winner of that is a legit champion at 160, whereas at 168, there's no title on the line, and that's not Derevyanchenko. Like, that's not the weight that he's been campaigning at for a couple years, right? So I feel if Canelo does win, he wouldn't get full credit, where I feel like the fight at 160, there's no real judgment to be made there.
Yeah, I agree. I'd rather see Chenko versus Charlo. See what Charlo's made out of, you know.
Yeah, exactly. Who do you favor in that matchup?
I'm gonna have to go with Chenko, man, by decision. That's what I think. You know, I think that fool's rugged. He has more experience at 160 than well, I'm not gonna say more, but better. Fighting Triple G and Jacobs, you know what I mean? Even though there were losses, you can make an argument that he probably beat Triple G, and Jacobs was really close as well, you know?
Yeah,
And Charlo at 160 had you could say he lost to Korobov, you know what I mean? And then the other guys, he brought him from down, Hogan and Adams.
yo,
So,
bruh, the legendary
know.
Brandon Adams and Dennis Hogan. You know?
Yeah, you know what I mean?
That's
So
right.
I think Chenko's gonna take
I
it.
mean, I'm talking about legendary fucking amateur status, man. Fucking Brandon Adams and Hogan. Fuck.
Brandon Adams beat Shane Mosley Jr. Shane
Oh,
Mosley.
you had me fooled for a second. You had me fooled.
Hey Santos. Hey Santos.
Yeah, but man. Hey, Triple G though. Triple G got to give my boy right here, Korobov, a fucking rematch, man. If you're not gonna fight Canelo, you need to fight Korobov. You know what I'm saying? Straight up, man. Stop ducking, Triple G.
Hey Santos.
Don't do that. What's up?
Have you ever talked to DSFG?
Oh,
Like
that
on the
guy?
chat?
Oh, yeah. I talked to him a couple times, man. I can't.
Man,
I can't stomach that dude for long.
I would love for you to be Angel's dad and could try to convince him that he lost. That shit will be fucking hilarious.
I've tried, man. I've tried, but he ducks me, man. He ducks.
I don't think these guys have ever heard you. You know.
I think once I put the flame on him the first couple times, I put the flame on him first couple of times. I wasn't Angel Garcia. I was just regular Angel Santos, and I put the flame on him, and he just never came back on the UGC or whatever. So
yeah, for those who guys that don't know, man, this guy does a fucking perfect fucking Angel Garcia imitation, dude. Oh, fucking is right spot on, dude. Imagine him trying to convince fucking DSFG. Nah, man, my son lost those 2 fights. That should be hilarious.
I've just heard some breaking news. I'm gonna go look at it for a second, and we're gonna talk about this. It's about Ryan Garcia, though.
Yeah. I got it. I got that too. That's next on the agenda. Don't worry. Don't you worry.
all right.
What's up, Smoke? How you doing?
Hey, get the smoke. What's up, buddy?
We aren't getting any audio from you, Smoke. No. It sounds like you're underwater and the phone. It sounds like your phone is in a car underwater.
Oh.
All right, now you're good. Now you're good.
All right, cool. Yeah, I didn't know that you were live. I'm glad I caught you.
Yeah. I just posted in the Hangouts.
Yeah, I just saw it. I just looked in. I'm not sure what I missed. I'm not sure what's in store, but I'm glad to be here.
Thank you for coming, Smoke. So let me kind of just rewind just for you a little bit. We have reportedly Derevyanchenko has been sent offers by both Team Charlo and Canelo Alvarez, right? These two would be fighting at 160 for the WBC title or at 168 for the WBA regular title, respectively. Which matchup do you prefer? And which one do you think happens?
I prefer 160. I think Canelo versus Derevyanchenko is a little bit like kissing your sister at 168, right? Yeah, I don't think it means anything. Like, what does Derevyanchenko mean to the 168-pound division? So yeah, I mean, Charlo. I don't think that Canelo. I mean, I'd have to see it, but really, I don't give Charlo that. I mean, I don't give Derevyanchenko that big a chance against Canelo. I think he has a much better chance against Charlo. And so if you think that's a more competitive fight, and I think the stakes are higher, and I think it's more important historically. So yeah, Derevyanchenko, Charlo definitely is the fight I'd want to see, and the fight that I think is most winnable for Derevyanchenko.
So, who do you favor in that matchup then, or how do you see it going down?
You know, I like Derevyanchenko's tenacity. I like his IQ. I like his effective aggression. I like his output, but Charlo, I would edge it to him in like a, I don't know, like 55-45, maybe 60-40 at the most, but probably more like 55-45, just because I feel like Derevyanchenko, if Karabov can be successful against Charlo, I can't overlook the fact that Derevyanchenko could be at least as effective, if not more so. Although Karabov was a late replacement, it was a tough late replacement, and then he'd be training for Derevyanchenko the whole time, but still. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know that from it. Big Maul is still with Derek James, right? He's not the one that went to Ronnie Shields.
Yeah.
Oh, it is Ronnie Shields. No, he's with Ronnie Shields. Yeah, he's with Ronnie Shields. All right. Damn. Huh. I think Ronnie Shields can actually come with the. I think Ronnie Shields can come with a game plan specifically for Derevyanchenko. Yeah, I mean, I'd favor Charlo. I think he's a bit big. I think he knows how to fight from range. I think he can hook off the jab really damn well. And he's gonna keep on coming. And yeah, I think it's a good scrap. I think it's a really good scrap, actually.
Remember Smoke about what's his name? Derevyanchenko fought Triple G and Jacobs. And
yeah, so I like the Triple
Jack
G fight. Yeah, I mean, I like the Triple G fight a little bit more than the Jacobs fight, because the Jacobs fight to me is one of the reasons why I don't like either one of them for real. I mean, I know that they're are in the same camp and whatever. Maybe a fight didn't really break out the way it could have, as if they didn't know each other so well and didn't like each other so much. But there's still just like gears missing. You know, Derevyanchenko to me is a short arm guy. Like, he just has short arms. Like, I'm looking at him. He gets on the inside. He does some good work, but I think Charlo can keep him at range.
So you think Charlo's going to try to outbox him, keep him on the outside? Hello?
Yeah, because that's.
I think.
What do you guys think about that? Him fighting on the outside.
I don't know, man. I think that'd be a mistake for. I think that'd be a mistake for Derevyanchenko to fight Charlo on the outside. That'd be a huge mistake. But I mean, you never know.
Were you saying
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. I'm saying Charlo's gonna be on the outside. I think Charlo's gonna keep it at range and keep Derevyanchenko at the end of the shots.
Yeah, I think Derevyanchenko's going to try to fight mid-range. Although I'm going to be curious to see how Charlo handles lateral movement the way Derevyanchenko uses it, because how many lateral movers has he really faced?
Yeah.
Right. That's a great point. That's a great point, intangible, because I was wondering that too, man. Like,
the thing is how disciplined is Charlo going to be once Derevyanchenko's trying to fight on the inside and in the middle. You know, like in that distance, is he going to commit? Is Charlo going to commit and try to fight Derevyanchenko's fight like he kind of tried to do with Korobov?
Okay, so you know, Hogan was using lateral movement and inside move, and he was standing his ground. He tried different things. Hogan is no Derevyanchenko, right? So let me just preface it. I'm not saying that, right? I'm just saying that when it comes to lateral movement, we've seen the Brandon Adams and we've seen Hogan's. Brandon Adams was not trying to win the fight. He was just trying to hear the 12th round. And I feel like Charlo was headhunting the whole time also. So while it wasn't a competitive fight, he wasn't able to track down Brandon Adams to stop him, right? But I think that if Brandon Adams actually tried to win the fight, then that would have been a different thing, right? And I think Derevyanchenko is going to actually try to win the fight. I think Dennis Hogan actually tried to win the fight too.
Yeah, I mean, I do think Adams fought more conservatively, but I mean, Charlo headhunts in pretty much all of his fights. Yeah, I mean, he doesn't necessarily keep a sustained body attack for the most part.
No,
he's more of a
not at all. Not at all. No, what I mean by headhunting, he was just trying to take his head off, right? It wasn't just that. I mean, when I said, right, he was definitely headhunting, but he was looking for the knockout. Is really
he
more
was putting 100% into every punch and going for the head, which just wasn't really panning out well because Adams was just surviving mostly, right? Yeah, so I see a breakdown, and we kind of moved to the next point. I don't know where Intangible went. Hopefully he comes back, but if not, thanks for coming on the panel. But next we moved on to the Ugas versus Ramos for the WBA title at welterweight, right? The regular title, with the winner having to fight Butaev afterwards, right? So what do you make of that bout? Or those bouts, I guess.
Hold on, IBT, real quick. My bad. So, yeah, you said that it would be 168 Canelo and Derevyanchenko for the WBA belt?
WBC.
At 168, I think it would be for the regular title.
The
But at
WBA?
160, it would be for the WBC. I'm pretty sure. Doesn't Canelo still hold that title?
I don't know. I know he doesn't hold the WBO. It's light heavy anymore. I don't know if he gave up the regular.
So according to the WBA rankings here, it says
I
that
thought it was Federer or some shit like that.
no, he's the gold champion. Fedor Chutinov.
Yeah, that
Fedor
dude.
Chutinov, yeah. He's the gold champion, and Canelo is still the WBA regular champion at 168.
Which one's higher?
Callum Smith is a super champion at Smith.
No. From Canelo's and Federer.
Oh, I think regular champion's higher.
Higher than the gold?
Yeah. That's how it's worded here.
Yeah, the regular champion can actually become a super champion.
Yeah, the regular champion can be, unify or be upgraded to super, whereas the gold, it's kind of like the silver belt, the diamond belt, like they're more commemorative almost. They're like a placeholder in the rankings. I think you do get some treatment, but you don't get the, you're not a world champion, as they'll say. Otherwise, Virgil Ortiz would be a world champion right now, and Joe Joyce would also be a world champion, and Robert Helenius is a world champion. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. No. All right.
Yeah. So this is the same version of that title, but at welterweight, right? The regular championship for the WBA, Ugas versus Abel Ramos, and the winner fights Butaev. But like we were talking about here earlier, Smoke, we were wondering, okay, well, why isn't he just fighting Butaev for the vacant title? And L-Dub explained that because of COVID, there's travel issues, right? And let me see if I could just bring that comment back up. They did it for two reasons. They have travel issues, and the PBC is working with the WBA heavy. Basically, prior to this fight formulating, Abel Ramos has not defeated anybody in the top 15 WBA rankings, and just last week he was suddenly made number 6 in the rankings. So clearly there was just some influence there, but I don't think that's going to be a good fight. I'm happy to see Ugas get the fight. I think he deserves a world title, especially a world title shot. I think he wins this. I think he beats Butaev afterwards, and Butaev's not a bad win at all. I do think Ramos is a pretty mediocre fight, though. And I was talking about this with you earlier, Smoke, but I don't feel that this is a duck to Terrence Crawford because Terrence Crawford never actually sent him an official contract, or they never sent him anything to officially make the fight. It's just a lot of word through press. So I don't feel that this is a duck like a lot of people have.
Yeah, the Abel Ramos, like the guy's claim to fame is that he dropped Baranchyk years ago, right? In a fight that he still lost, and Baranchyk dropped him too. So yeah, while I mean, if I am Ugas, I'm trying to get the Crawford fight. I don't give a damn what Bob has to say. I'm doing the Andy Ruiz. I'm taking a page out of Andy Ruiz's book, and I'm hitting him up, DM him, telling him I'm ready. That is a fight that I'm looking forward. That's the fight that I would push, especially if all you got is those two guys, back to back in the WBA, like who nobody is checking for that. Like, I'm sorry. Like, nobody's checking for the title. Nobody's checking for those fighters. Ugas would just start languishing in obscurity again. He's got a lot of heat from what he was able to do with Porter and what he was able to do with Omar Figueroa. Or I should say, Omar. Omar Figueroa. Taking his O. So he's got some. He's got some heat behind him, and I think all that momentum dissipates with a WBA gold thing against these two guys, like getting the belt and then defending it against these two. Whatever. What does that mean?
I think him getting the belt, like the actual fight, is a mediocre fight. I think Butaev's not a bad fight at all, but for me, it just kind of sucks to have his hands tied for 2 fights already. You know what I mean?
You know what? But the thing is, though, they announced that, everybody. But my thing is, I don't think that fight happens with Ugas and Butaev. I think what Get the Smoke was saying is, Ugas is going to get that belt, but I think he's going to drop it and try to get a fight with Crawford or try to get a fight somewhere else. I don't think he's going to fight a Butaev, man.
Yeah, I mean,
drop that belt.
Even the Ramos belt, I'm saying that fine. That's what the WB has ordered, and you have that in your back pocket. But that's a fallback. That's a decent plan B. But my plan A would still be the Crawford fight.
Yeah, and I think if he gets offered, I would prefer that as well if I were him, especially. I could see that as well. I think he actually is a good test for Crawford, and he has a legitimate chance of beating Crawford. I don't think it's just kind of like a one-sided fight, and if it is, that would exceed my expectations. But I just don't feel like I've heard a lot of people say he's ducking Crawford by even being entertained by this fight, right? And I'm pretty sure that let me check his Twitter really quick. But he said that this fight is on versus Ramos, right? So
real quick though.
What's up? Yeah.
Oh, go ahead. My bad. Go ahead. You was finished. I thought you was done.
I'll remember what I was going to say, but I'm going to go on for a bit, so you can go.
So I was just going to say is, I'm pretty sure Ugas is going to win that belt. And I don't think that fight with Butaev happens. He drops the belt. That belt is going to get vacant again, and Butaev and Besputin are going to run it back again. That's what I think is going to happen.
I don't know how long Besputin's going to be banned, because the reason the belt is vacant is because he failed that drug test, right?
Yeah, I know, and it's not going to be that long. It's not.
Oh, I get what you're saying.
It'll probably be a 6 month. It'll probably be a 6 month ban. I'm telling
they
you.
may
make him work his way back up the ranks though too.
Did the B samples come back for him already or not?
Yeah, he tested very positive.
All right. So there's no investigation or none of that. He's already.
The investigation.
It's already happened.
Yeah, it's done. He failed, or he tested positive, I guess. He had PEDs. That's the final. Yeah,
they stripped him. I don't know how long they suspended him, but they already stripped him.
I love that they do for the WBA conferences. They do like an actual ceremony for the stripping. That's hilarious.
Yeah, they do it. Yeah. No, but you know what? It serves its purpose. It serves its purpose because it shows everyone that, hey, we're not playing games. We're gonna strip you if you cheat. And that's what needs to happen more often than not.
We're gonna have a video of it too.
But in the service, in the service, real quick, let me finish. In the service, when I was in the military, anybody got in trouble or NJP, your ass got in front of the formation. You got NJP right in front of everybody. Okay, that's what needs to happen in boxing. You need to get freaking made an example in front of everyone. That way, everyone sees nobody's playing around with this shit no more. But go ahead, that's it.
Yeah, no, the WBA they strip people so seldom that sure, make a big show out of it because they don't do it every. IBF, they're stripping people left and right. They don't need to see this big ceremony about it every time.
Yeah, there'd be a lot of meetings. But yeah, I think it's good for Ugas. I'm happy he's getting the title, right? Like Intangible said earlier, or like I said earlier, this would be the first Cuban welterweight since Jose Napoli's. Maybe you don't consider it a true championship because it is a regular title, but either way, it's significant for Ugas and his own legacy, right? I do feel that he should fight Crawford. I think that'd be a good fight. If they send a contract and then he rejects it, I could see how that would be a duck. But as of now, I don't consider this a duck because no official offer has been sent. So that's all I meant when I wanted to bring up Crawford and Ugas.
Yeah. I mean, I still think it's a fight that he should pursue because, I mean, let's be honest. Whoever fight for that vacant WBA and whoever they defend against, even if Ugas were to lose against Terence Crawford, he should be able to get that fight. He should be able to get a voluntary fight against the WBA regular champ.
Yeah.
At any point.
Yeah, he's qualified enough at this point, especially
that'd be
with the fighters
the right thing.
Yeah. Okay, so are we ready to move on to the pretty breaking news? Initially, I was going to have this be us talking about Ryan Garcia versus Luke Campbell for the interim WBC title and mandatory spot versus Devin Haney, or it was going to be Ryan Garcia going the WBO route, and basically, if he were to win an eliminator, then he would become the mandatory for the WBO title, and that was announced earlier today as well. So that would have been a good opportunity, but don't even need to talk about that, as it turns out very maybe 10 minutes ago on Twitter it was announced Golden Boy said that they will be pursuing the Luke Campbell fight that follows the Devin Haney fight if he wins, which I legitimately did not think he would take this. So kudos to him. Of course, the fight is not fully confirmed as the financial negotiations have not been settled, right? They're just confirmed that they will now enter negotiations, but the fact that they're even doing that, I think, is significant enough. What do you guys think?
That'll be awesome, dude. But you think the fans have anything to do with that or no? Would it be no fans, or with that fight's going to be based on fans attending?
Yeah, I don't think that there would be any fans. And both opponents that he was going to fight for the WBO would be top 10, although I think Luke Campbell is better. The only thing is with the way he goes into the WBC route, he fights Luke Campbell, who's good, and he fights Devin Haney, who's also very good. But we know that the head honcho of the lightweight division is Vasyl Lomachenko, obviously. He's the currently unified champion. And the Emmanuel Tagoe fight would be easier fight for Ryan Garcia, but it would also lead to the absolute hardest fight in the division, whereas he can fight Luke Campbell, who's a hard fight, and Devin Haney, which is also a hard fight, but it's not as hard as Lomachenko, right? So it's like, would you rather have, let's say level 3 is the hardest. Would you rather go through level 1 than level 3, or 2 level 2s? And apparently he's pursuing the 2 level 2s.
I don't think Devin Haney's gonna have any more. He's probably gonna have 1 or 2 fights tops at 135. Then he's gonna move up. So I don't even know if Ryan will fight him, before he moves up. Haney.
Yeah, well, I mean, so the matchup is intriguing, but to me, what's more intriguing right now than the matchup is the actual politics, right? Because you have Golden Boy and Matchroom, both who are on the zone. And then you have one guy who's the hot up-and-coming prospect for Golden Boy. And then you have Luke Campbell, who is definitely not one of the, he has relative, he has limited value. He has limited value, I think, to Matchroom's goals and their ambitions, right? I mean, if Luke Campbell wins, he wins, but I don't think they're, betting the farm and putting a whole bunch of backing behind Luke Campbell. I'm not sure about the purse bid. Luke Campbell as a draw in the UK without Loma as his opponent. I don't know if, Eddie Hearn's is he going to win that purse bid?
Yeah, so yeah, he isn't really Luke Campbell did do well with Lomachenko in the UK, but it's kind of a big point that you have to mention, which is with Lomachenko, right? Obviously, he's still he had a favorable performance, even though he lost. He performed in a way people did not expect, and he exceeded expectations despite coming up short. So his stock hasn't plummeted really. This is still a good fight for him. Obviously, he's in the title eliminator, coming off of a loss. I don't even think the Lomachenko fight should have happened, but it happened. And that basically leaves us at, where do you rate Luke Campbell, or how do you feel that the fight with Ryan Garcia will play out, right?
Yeah, so as far as the fight goes, I think it's a good fight. Although I already don't like what Luke Campbell said about the fight. It already just smacks of like, yeah, he's not really ready for this. But I haven't heard what Ryan Garcia has to say about it. All I've heard is Luke Campbell's initial comment, which was he hasn't actually seen an entire Ryan Garcia fight, but he's actually confident that he's going to be able to stop Ryan Garcia.
Yeah, so I've seen you say this, but I don't really know what you mean by that. Honestly, he could watch a couple Ryan Garcia fights in like a Twitter video, so I highly doubt he's not seen an entire Ryan Garcia fight. Maybe he hasn't seen a lot of rounds. Whatever the claim was, what did you take away from it? Because I've heard you say this.
Right,
I don't quite understand.
Because the guy asked him, I can't remember. I put it in I can look up the interview and put it in, because I think it was Boxing Social, but I'm not sure. But anyway, he just asked him, like, he asked him about the fight, said it was been ordered and all this stuff and what he thought. And he said, I haven't seen an entire Ryan Garcia. I haven't seen a whole Ryan Garcia fight. I've seen some highlights. But I'm going to stop the guy. So, okay. So, I mean, if you're going to stop the guy based on some highlight films, some highlights, like, to me, if that's what you've seen and that's what you feel, that's fine. I don't think that doesn't pass the sniff test for me. I don't think if Luke Campbell's that good that he's just, I don't know what highlight he's seen, but I don't know. I think it'll be a lot more competitive. I don't see Luke Campbell as this guy that goes around stopping and like, I don't know. If you mention some of his attributes and like how he is gonna do it or something like that, then yeah. But it was sort of an off the cuff remark. Like, he just hasn't seen a lot, but he's confident he's gonna stop him.
Yeah. Really
so is Campbell a step up from Linares for Ryan?
Hold on.
Wait, let me just.
Hefe? Who was just talking?
No. There's no. Don't even say that, man. I would never.
Okay,
Not on my panel.
Sounded very familiar.
No, that's Raider. Raider's cool.
Who's that?
That's Tony. That's pretty interesting. You guys never met, but basically Tony reviews. He has his own channel. Check him out. Cool guy. Raider has his own channel. Check him out. I'll put your guys' stuff, at the end. Smoke technically has a channel.
But is it official that the fight got signed?
All right, so the fight is confirmed negotiations. You know what I mean? So they're going to be talking to financials, but Golden Boy said that they're going to opt to go the WBC route rather than the WBO route, which would have been Emmanuel Tagoe, who's also a top 10 lightweight, and then Lomachenko, right? So it goes from slight step up to big step up, whereas this one is step up to another step up. You know what I mean? The gap's not as large, in my opinion.
I think, personally, Luke Campbell is a much harder fight than Linares. I mean, Linares was knocked out by Lomachenko, and Luke went all the way with him.
Yeah, at this point in their career, I would say that Campbell is a slight upgrade from Linares, although I do feel they both accomplished the same thing, which is the end goal of those fights was to legitimize Ryan Garcia as a top 10 contender, right? An actual contender. Because at this point, Romero Duno and Fonseca are wins that aren't bad, but they don't really answer any questions people have, or I feel that both Luke Campbell and Jorge Linares would have, you know what I mean? Or will.
Well,
yeah, so
I think...
Go ahead, sorry, Tony.
Yeah, I was going to say, I take a lot from the Fonseca win because Fonseca, in my opinion, is a better win than anything on Devin Haney's record. And people praise Devin Haney. And Fonseca only had 2 losses to 2 world champions. So, I mean, Fonseca is a very good fighter, and nobody beat him the way Ryan did. Ryan was setting him up with that hook all night and caught him and put him to sleep early, first round. So, I mean, whenever I look at it, the fight to me makes a lot of sense because Fortuna, he fell out of the Luke Campbell fight to fight Linares. Linares fell out of the Garcia fight to fight Fortuna. So you got both guys who lost their fighters to each other, fighting each other. And then whenever I look at Luke Campbell, he's also an Olympian. So I think he's a much harder fight than Linares. Not only is he more better and diverse with his boxing skills, but he's taller. So he's going to take a lot of that height advantage that Ryan always seems to have away from Ryan.
Yeah, I mean, that is a good point. I think Luke Campbell offers a stylistic matchup that is not like the Linares thing. I think we all know that Linares' chin is not really up to par. Ryan Garcia has explosive speed and power. The more ideal matchup for him, just looking at styles, whereas Luke Campbell is a gold medalist. He's an outboxer. He has the reach and height advantage, if I am remembering correctly. So this is definitely a wildly different style than the one he might have been preparing for before. And this is definitely a step up in competition. Although I also like Francisco Fonseca, we also have to remember that those two fights in which he had title shots, he was stopped by Gervonta Davis at 130, and he lost a wide unanimous decision. Although it was competitive in certain parts, it was still very clearly a Tevin Farmer win. Also at 130, the Ryan Garcia fight was at 135.
Also, Linares was a longtime champion, 135. Also, Linares dropped Lomachenko. Also, Linares beat Campbell.
Yeah. But there's kind of an he beat Campbell, but it was a split decision, and some people felt that Campbell won. So it's not really quite linear like that because you have to look at the recent performances. So he dropped Lomachenko, which is great and all, but he's also been stopped a couple times. Since number one.
But hold on.
We're just talking about the bona fides, right? We're talking about the in-ring bona fides.
But come on now. Let's be serious about Linares dropping Lomachenko. All right. Let's look at this 100. Lomachenko was playing with him, laughing at him, putting his hands down, jumping in and out, toying with him. And he ended up jumping into a straight, got put down, got up, and dominated Linares from then on because he quit toying with him. So, yes, he knocked him down, but how legit was the knockdown when the guy was toying with him like a cat with a mouse?
I had that fight pretty close until like the later rounds when Lomachenko was dominating. But that was towards the later rounds.
Yeah, and also Linares didn't do shit after he dropped him. Like, he didn't press Loma. He just sat there and act like nothing happened. Like, listen, I'm not some big Linares fan. I'm just saying that if you're going to put Fonseca over Linares, like, we're going to talk about their relative careers and praise Fonseca, then we definitely got to look at what Linares has done. Because Linares at least has been a champion, and Luke Campbell is challenged for a championship. One of them was against Linares, which he didn't win.
Yeah. But I think just the kind of point and the thing that people feel is that since the Lomachenko fight, which he still lost, right? He had his moments, but he still lost. He had before that a good reign over the lightweight division. He was ring champion, WBC, WBA champion, right? WBC Diamond, sorry. So he had some fights with Luke Campbell, very close decision, split decision. Some people felt Campbell won. He had the two Anthony Crolla fights. Not necessarily names that we would now recognize as being spectacular wins, although they were good wins. He's also been stopped, however, by Antonio DeMarco, Sergio Thompson, Juan Carlos Salgado, right? He's also recently been stopped by Pablo Cesar Cano in one round. That was only 1 year ago. So even though he's a good fighter, he is almost notoriously chinny. And like I said earlier, I just feel like the style matchup would have favored Ryan more than a Luke Campbell does. So despite Luke Campbell coming off of a loss, it was a competitive loss. And just purely looking at what they have in their actual skill set, I think these guys, like Luke Campbell and Linares, are similar level fighters with different weaknesses, different strengths. I just feel like the strengths that Campbell does have are more prevalent or going to give Ryan Garcia more trouble than the strengths of Jorge Linares would. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, definitely. So Jorge Linares' calling card is his timing and his power, right? That's what he's got. The issue with Ryan Garcia is he's got great hand speed, but he holds his chin in the air, right? I don't know what kind of beard the guy's got, I think Linares would definitely test it. But like I was just saying in the Lomachenko fight, Linares dropped him and didn't press him afterwards. So even if he dropped Ryan, unless he's going to knock him out with the one shot, he dropped Luke Campbell, right? He's not like he's going around knocking these guys out, but he is good enough to drop them. Yeah, I mean, I could see it competitive, but I get it. I guess I would give both guys the same. Yeah, I mean, maybe I give Luke Campbell a better shot. I don't know.
How old is Linares?
It's 6
now?
on one
Like
hand and half a
35?
dozen on the other for me, really.
Is Linares around like 35?
He's
Somewhere
34
around-
years old.
Yeah, I knew he was somewhere around 35. I'm on my phone, so I can't look this shit up. So that's why I was asking. Yeah, and Luke Campbell is what, early 30s?
32 years old.
Yeah. And Linares has been through a lot more wars, so therefore his aging will affect him worse, in my opinion.
That's fair.
Yeah, but the experience is there for both these guys. You know what I mean? Compared to Ryan's. And isn't Ryan taller than Luke?
Yeah, he's an inch taller. If I remember correctly, Luke Campbell's 5'9", Ryan's 5'10", but Linares is like 5'8" or 5'7".
Yeah, so Luke Campbell does have a 1 inch height disadvantage, but he also has the reach advantage by 1 inch, 71 versus 70 inches.
Yeah, so it's going to even out. That's why I was saying earlier, Raider, that when Ryan goes against Luke, he is no longer going to have that height advantage, that reach advantage that he normally has. So that's going to be nullified from him or equalized, so to say. And that's what makes it so interesting because he can't use his physical dimensions to control a fight this time.
Yeah, well, I mean, speed is going to have to come into a factor as well. He's going to have to use his speed, on that fight for sure.
Yeah, but people sleep on Luke Campbell's speed. Luke Campbell was fast enough to keep hitting Loma every time he was turning.
Yeah, I think he'll try to adopt a similar, as much as he can, a similar game plan as Lomachenko did in terms of movement. But I don't think he's going to be fighting the same way because obviously they have different dimensions. He'll have to make use of his hand speed. He'll have to make use of counter shots. To me, I think this fight won't necessarily test his chin, but test his ability, whereas the Linares fight would have more tested his chin if it did go the distance. In the Linares fight versus Ryan Garcia, I would favor Ryan Garcia, where in this fight, I'm actually slightly leaning towards Luke Campbell at the moment because I just don't feel that Ryan Garcia is proven enough, well, as I feel Luke Campbell is. And like I was talking about earlier, I feel his strengths would give Ryan Garcia more trouble than Jorge Linares would have.
Well, and also too, Ryan Garcia, he don't really move around a lot like a Loma does. You know what I mean? He's kind of more like he likes to stay in the pocket and kind of throw his shots. You know what I mean? Like with his feet planted. So I want to see how that game plan is going to work against Luke Campbell.
Yeah, because my bad, Smoke. Go ahead.
All right, well, I was just going to mention just the fact that I think Luke Campbell built on the success that that Pedraza had against Loma, and that is not setting and not committing to your shots and just moving around and just touching Loma. And I think that is a specific game plan against Loma. I don't think that all of a sudden Campbell has become some great fighter that we haven't seen yet. I just think that, he implemented a game plan and it was a bigger dude that somebody else set forward that had some success against Lomachenko. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, no, I think.
Hold on, there we go. My point wasn't that he's some super athlete. My point was that his hand speed is slept on, that he was fast enough to repeatedly tag Lomachenko, where a lot of people have difficulties doing. So I was saying that his hands are actually pretty fucking quick. Luke Campbell's. As far as like what Raider you were saying is, to me, Ryan, he's so flat-footed because he does have the height advantage and he's got a lot of power with speed. So most of the time he's baiting guys to come forward, to come into his range. And that's why he's so flat-footed, because he's real quick with the counter shots as they move in. But I agree with IBT. I really only see this going one or two ways. I see Luke Campbell getting hurt early and can't deal with the pressure, or he's gonna put on a fucking boxing clinic and school the living shit out of Ryan Garcia because he's just too young for Luke Campbell's experience. So it's either gonna go one of two ways, in my opinion.
Yeah, and two, Ryan doesn't have the experience going the all full distance, which he might have to with Campbell. And just like I was saying, Ryan likes to like stay in flat-footed and use his speed, use his hands, and counterpunch. But he's gonna have to use more head movement and waist movement if he's gonna fight Luke Campbell, and that's gonna even expel more energy. And who knows how his stamina is in those later rounds.
Yeah, that's a good point. What's the latest a fight has gone with Ryan Garcia?
I think he's been 8 rounds.
10 round? I thought he did 10-round fights, but
Oh yeah,
he's definitely not been 12 for sure.
Hey, yeah. Now this is a good fight. Ryan Garcia versus Luke Campbell. This is a very good fight, actually. Me personally, I'm favoring Luke Campbell. I think he's got too much experience. I think, stylistically, he's a pretty difficult boxer to really look good against. I've never seen him lose a fight where it just looks super easy for anyone, He's always giving them problems, or at least giving a good account of himself. I think, he's one of the few guys at lightweight who can actually match the younger guys in terms of their size as well. I think Luke Campbell and Ryan Garcia are pretty much the same size. So, I mean, this will be one of the first fights where Ryan Garcia doesn't have a size advantage over his opponent.
Yeah, and that's what we were noting earlier. This is an experienced opponent, someone who's a gold medalist. They're going to have a reach advantage, and their height is only 1 inch apart. So realistically, these guys are around the same size. I think it'll just be a more interesting matchup, and I'm excited to see the way it plays out, especially since I legitimately did not think that he would take this offer. I thought he would go down the Emmanuel Tagoe fight, and then he would go for Lomachenko maybe, or possibly see if Teofimo wins and he could get a vacant title, or if Lomachenko moves down, right? But it seems he's going for Devin Haney, like he said he's been trying to do, so that's cool to see.
Like, let's be real here. Ryan Garcia has never expressed interest in fighting Lomachenko anytime soon. I'm not saying he's ducking him. I'm just saying I don't think that's in the foreseeable future.
Well,
If he beats Luke Campbell, I think the fight they'll look to make for a world title will be against Devin Haney or Gervonta Davis. They'll try and make one of those two fights, but I can't see them looking for Loma. And one quick thing I want to ask you guys, because I've been meaning to look this up, but
oh shit! Hold up, L Dog. Look at the picture. So is it official?
no.
Look at the picture on your screen.
Yeah, no, it's not official. They just switched targeted date to tentative date.
Yeah.
That's all they've done. They just switch adjectives, but they just switch qualifiers on date. It's not actually made on September 19th yet.
No. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, looking at the picture, it already has Ryan Garcia and Luke Campbell on it under Lomachenko and Lopez. So is it official
Neither of
that they're
those
going to be on
fights
the
are
card?
official. They're being discussed, but I don't think they're official.
Yeah, none of this stuff is official.
I
This
think
is just-
Linares Fortuna is.
So
That's
is that
about it.
fan made? The picture that he put up?
I think it's this guy.
Yeah,
It could be from Top Rank, but whatever it is, neither one of those fights are made, so it's
Yeah.
nothing.
Well, what
but
I'm saying is, if it's not fan made and it's an official poster of the fight, then they're already so close to making it. They're not going to make that without it already being pretty much done. If it's official, that poster.
okay. What I'm saying is, I think that they could be making these posters and still have it not be done, right? So I think this is great promotion for Top Rank in order to make it. It's not. They have a graphic department that they have to pay anyway, right? So them coming up with thumbnails and flyers and all that stuff. Maybe the date will happen. Maybe it won't happen.
Generate hype. Interesting.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely.
Hey, is
But-
that fight on the zone, or you think it's gonna be on the zone?
Just a quick thing. I looked it up. Ryan has gone 10 rounds twice a couple of years ago.
Hey, one thing I wanted to ask you guys
Hey,
is this. Ryan Garcia said southpaws are his favorite type of guys to fight, right? Have you guys ever seen him fight a southpaw? And
Well-
if so, how
well,
did he actually do against them?
L Dog, you got to understand. I could very well understand why he made that comment, because his best punch is a very bad weakness for southpaws, and that's the left hook. So being that he's so good with his left hook, stepping around the southpaw's jab lines you up perfectly to put your left hook in their blind spot. In my opinion, it's the southpaw killer. If
Have
can
you
keep
ever
foot-
seen? Have you ever
Well,
seen?
I don't
him?
know. What I'm saying, L Dog, is we don't know how many people he sparred with. So he might have sparred with several southpaws. And because what I'm saying is he's so good at that left hook, he might be eating them alive in sparring.
So let me actually.
Yeah, I see.
Here's the thing, right?
I see
know
what
a lot of
Tony's
these
saying.
guys.
He might have better. He might be doing better against southpaws than right-handers in sparring. That's probably why he said
A
that.
lot of these guys seem to be saying they do well against southpaws, but when I go through their box rec, pretty much all the guys they lost to in the amateurs were southpaws. So I mean, I don't know how much weight to put to these guys' claims.
Yeah, but
that,
L Dog, you got to
southpaw-
understand. L Dog, you got to understand. A guy like Ryan Garcia is much better as a professional than an amateur because he is so explosive with his power. So
Right, but I
you-
still got to see it. You know, I'm looking at something. I got to look at something to see if the claims are right. And if someone to me has lost like all their fights pretty much in the amateurs to southpaws, I'm not going to give much weight to them saying that they're great at fighting southpaws when they've only fought one southpaw as a professional.
Yeah, but
a
great
lot
at
of
fighting southpaws is
a
a
lot
different
of
statement than his favorite fighters are to fight, right? That's a different thing altogether. One
Yeah,
isn't actually predicated on his success. It's just his own personal preference.
Well,
and
I
a
mean,
lot
no
of
one
Brian's
likes losing.
power. A lot of Brian's power comes because of his speed. I don't know if he really actually has power. If he didn't have speed.
I'm
Yeah,
gonna tell you this: if the fight happens in America, there's no way Luke Campbell can win a decision.
well,
I don't know about that.
I think that this is probably more than likely with Loma and Lopez on it. It's going to be a top ranked card. It's not going to be the zone, and it's not going to be a Golden Boy card because of the headliner.
Really quick, that fight I don't think happens on anything except DAZN because Matchroom and Golden Boy are both DAZN. That was just a WBC poster. That wasn't a all of these fights somehow have a WBC title on the line, right? So that wasn't a top rank.
Okay.
Yeah, so the top fight, right? Lomachenko has the franchise. Teofimo's fighting for that. Devin Haney has the WBC title, so that's why he was on there. The Garcia versus Campbell is for the WBC Interim, and the Fortuna versus Linares is for the WBC Diamond. So these fights aren't on the same network. They're just all WBC fights. That's why the poster exists.
Hey, but the Lomachenko and the fucking Teofimo, that's not even a belt, right? It's just a designation, so there is not transferable. So I don't know why the fuck they have that.
The diamond belt is very important to WBC.
Hold on. For Lomachenko, there's a belt on the line. For Teofimo Lopez, he gets nothing if he beats Loma.
No, I'm pretty sure
you're just saying for the WBC
status. If you
he does. He gets because Lomachenko's got 2 other belts.
Oh yeah, I guess that's true.
They were just talking about the WBC, whether or not the WBC belt is on the line, and for Tio, I think there would be at least a WBC diamond, right? And maybe that's enough for WBC to be like.
That's a big if.
Going to Fortuna and Linares.
No, that's the interim.
This shit.
That's the interim.
The interim.
No, that's Ryan.
The interim is going to Garcia and Campbell.
Yeah, this shit's getting confusing.
Yeah, I'm confused. Yeah, right. You're right. Yeah, you're right.
Guys, I'm a boxing fan. Don't worry, I got this. Let me find the picture again. Okay, so this top fight has the WBC franchise at stake for at least Lomachenko, and according to Teofimo's father/trainer, if they win more than likely they'll get the title. This is not confirmed. This is just according to his coach/father, right? Devin Haney is the WBC champion, normal, not regular, right? Just WBC champion, the one that we know. And his opponent is to be announced. The Ryan Garcia versus Luke Campbell is for the interim WBC title and a mandatory shot or spot versus Devin Haney. So the winner of this moves on to fight Devin Haney, while the Linares versus Fortuna would be between the WBC Diamond title.
Yeah, see, now here's a problem because Teofimo's dad said that he was promised by Suleiman that they would get some type of a belt, right? WBC belt. But Suleiman said that fucking franchise is non-transferable. So I want to see what's gonna happen.
Yeah,
if
yeah.
Teo
He
wins.
said it can't be won, and he also put out a statement saying that to even be considered for franchise, you have to have a minimum of 3 title defenses.
That's not even true though, because Lomachenko won it from a unification with the vacant.
Yeah,
So he beat a
I know.
contender to win a vacant title, then immediately gets turned into franchise. It's all a bunch of BS. They do what they want.
Yeah, I know. He was also on record saying the only reason why he made an exception for Lomachenko was because at the time Loma did not have a mandatory challenger, and the biggest fight in boxing was him and Teofimo Lopez, so he made a one-time exception for Lomachenko.
On the second franchise, he made.
And it's a little bit different what he said, actually. What Loma said was, I'm not fighting your mandatories. I have bigger fish to fry. I am trying to have legacy fights, not fight your mandatories. And the WBC agreed with him. And so they elevated him.
Well,
Hey,
I'm
can I
just
ask
telling
you
you what
guys'
Suleiman
opinion on
said in the
something?
interview.
Really?
So
Yeah,
this
I'm
is
saying that's what Suleiman said. He's like, Loma's team came up to us and said, you know what? We're having legacy fights. We want to do these unifications and all this stuff, and we're not interested in your mandatories, and we're too big for these guys. And Suleiman agreed with him. He's like, our guys need to build up basically they need to do their push-ups, right? They need to keep they need to build up their profile, and then we'll be forcing our mandatories on the likes of a Lomachenko type guy.
Hey, can I ask you guys a question? Do you think Lomachenko Lopez is going to happen? I don't think Top Rank are going to invest the money into promoting this fight when so many of their fights are getting cancelled right now anyway.
L-Dog, stop lying to the fans.
Who
What do you
is
mean?
this?
L-Dog,
Yeah, who are you?
stop fucking lying to the fans, mate.
Who did I lie to?
Stop lying to the fans. BFTB, the
All right. So you were saying?
But I think it'll happen just because it's such a high profile fight, and it's like Corona has done nothing but put people in front of TV screens, and I think that they'll be able to market it well, so it will sell whether they have asses in seats or not. Plus, I mean, how much does Lomachenko get paid anyways? Because he really doesn't sell that much.
He gets paid quite a bit though. He got 3.2 million against Crawler.
Yeah, but 3.2 million is not a lot
Versus Krolla? That's
big.
not bad.
No. But what I'm
That's
saying,
quite a
for
bit
as big
versus
of a
a
name
bum.
Lomachenko is, that's really not a lot of money when you look at historical boxers of the same quality name.
no, but he's probably making the most out of his division.
Yeah.
By a long shot. But
It can be, maybe.
I'm gonna be honest. I don't think it happens. I don't think Loma Teofimo is gonna happen. I think that fight is done.
Yeah, I
Because
never thought it was gonna happen. Yeah,
I'm gonna tell you
didn't think
this:
it
with the
go ahead.
pandemic, they're not going to invest money into promoting a big fight. When first of all, I doubt they'll put it on pay-per-view at a time like this because people just aren't going to pay it. Second of all, look at how many fights are getting cancelled. Why would you invest a lot of money into promoting something just for it to be cancelled? And can Loma even get to America right now?
They can get him to America. They already have. UFC has flights going out to where was it? Like Fight Island, right?
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. They better fly his ass to UFC
Yeah,
Island.
so they'll find a way. That's not really going to be something that's stopping him at this point.
Hey, but
now-
according to Teal's dad, remember Smoke when me and you were talking to Teal's dad, and he said that the fight for sure was was gonna happen with September something. Remember?
Yep.
He said it was a done deal. That's what he
Bro,
said.
we heard the same thing about May.
I know. I also heard him mad that they weren't announcing it on like a Tuesday night fight. I'm with L Dog on this one. It doesn't pass the smell test. I've just seen Bob do this too much. There's too many there's too many just red flags for it for me.
So you think Bob's lighting fire under Teal's dad's ass? You think?
No, I think Bob knows full well that he has no interest in making this fight, and he has every interest in pretending like he's going to make this fight because it's good business. It actually deflects from the horror shows that he's actually putting on, and it's actually a fight that everybody wants to see. So yeah, but everybody wanting to see a fight, to me, equals, in Bob's mind, I can get more people to want to see it later.
But also,
you know what?
He's not going to risk one of his top prospects losing.
Not only that kind of makes sense because I can't see that fight with no fans. That's a huge loss of revenue for Bobby. You know.
Exactly.
So
yeah.
I mean,
it's just a perfect storm of that. Don't sound like Bob to me. Not the Bob that I know.
If I'm not mistaken, though, they already had got the arena and they were going to space people out. They were trying to get 6,000 people to attend, and they got around the legality of it by making people sit 6 feet away from each other.
That's gonna be at the Garden.
What's the name of that stadium? I'm trying to remember the name of the stadium. I can't remember.
I thought it was supposed to be the new Raiders Stadium. And I thought it was supposed to be the new Raiders Stadium in Vegas. It's supposed to be in Vegas.
Yeah, but again, you think that's going to be allowed? They're going to risk that when COVID is hitting record high cases in America? I mean, I doubt it now.
America is right. So America specifically is playing politics with COVID, right? So it's a state by state issue. It's not really a national issue, right? Depending on the state you have it in, you might be able to get around with it. And Vegas is actually putting on fights. So it could stand to reason that in Vegas that could happen. I don't know about anywhere else, but if they already have the venue and all that stuff, then it shouldn't be a tentative date.
Right.
Yeah, Vegas is not, is kind of lenient with laws and shit. There's casinos and all kinds of shit there, so they're putting on fights already. So maybe.
Vegas is doing like this whole thing where they're saying they're not going to be back to their real business, like full on, until 2023.
This shit is so stupid. This COVID shit pisses me off.
But I'm just going to be honest. I don't think we're going to see any big fights this year. I don't think we're going to see Fury versus Wilder 3. I don't think we're going to see Loma Lopez. I don't think we'll even see Davis Santa Cruz. I just don't see promoters. When they see how many cards are getting cancelled at Top Rank, how many people are having to pull out because someone in their team has it, doesn't even have to be the fighter. Like, pretty sure it was Pedraza's manager or whatever had it, and they had to can it. I can't see them investing money into promoting a fight just for it to be cancelled, especially when there's like, a recession or something happening. Nah,
I mean, I think you're right, dude. I don't think Wilder and Fury happens this year either. I mean, if they're talking about at Raiders Stadium, I'm pretty sure they can sell that out. All seats. That place is like 60,000, I think, or something like that.
No way. Wilder Fury 3 happens. No way.
Yeah,
I don't think there's like any of these fights are going to happen.
First off, Wilder Fury 3 cannot happen because Wilder's dead. He had an autopsy report, and I don't know a dead body that can medically clear the fight.
Yeah.
Well, I actually am convinced that Fury's a cheater. He cheated against Vladimir Klitschko. Facts.
How come?
Out of here.
Facts.
Listen,
how come?
Tyson Fury is from the UK. Vladimir Klitschko is from Ukraine, Eastern Europe. Therefore, I know that no UK fighter can beat a real Eastern European in their prime when they're a champion. That's just a fact.
Wait, but Vlad was not in his prime, though.
But here's the thing, right? Fury had a gun in his gloves.
You know how he cheated?
He had a gun in his gloves.
You know how he cheated?
Yeah.
He had a gun in his gloves, bro. That's why Vlad was gun shy, because he was too scared he'd be shot.
Yeah, I just wanted to say this real quickly, man. Tyson Fury actually shot Deontay Wilder before the second fight. He shot him in the leg. That's why his legs were not the same during that bout. Nobody can
Hold
convince
up.
me otherwise. Go ahead, Tony.
Get this smoke. Do you believe in this bullshit about these gloves? Because I've heard you talk about Wilder
Oh
before.
man.
Okay, so
I'm
just
asking him because I've
No,
heard
no,
him
no,
talk
no, no.
about Wilder
this is
before.
me for
I know, where this is going
this
to.
is
That's
love
why,
for me
that's why
this is for the gloves. If Tyson
Hey,
Fury
get
moved his
it. I
hands in the
can't hear
glove.
you. I see you talking, but I can't hear you.
Oh, can you hear me now? Hello, can you hear me?
Anybody hear him?
yeah, I can hear him.
Okay, all right.
No, I can't hear him. He's the only one I can't hear.
Okay, cool. I'll come out. I'll come out and come back in, and then ask the question.
Yeah, I'll just let you back in, Smoke.
Hey, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
I couldn't hear him. I can hear all you.
Hello?
I can hear you guys.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
All right.
All right, I'll just wait for. Let me put the link back in the chat. But yeah, sorry about that.
No, hey, Tony.
Did,
no, I didn't
did I
disrespect
just open
you
up
when
a
I-
can of worms?
Hey, Tony. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you.
No, I didn't laugh at you or anything like that. It's just funny because Smoke is real. Like when it comes to that glove gate stuff, I could open up a can of worms.
Yeah, let's not do that.
Yeah. All right. So here's what I think. I think that whether or not Fury
no.
manipulated the hand in his glove or removed the padding while it is dirty, I don't think that it's any. I don't think it rises to for me what I would call him a cheat. I would say it's dirty, just like hitting on the brake or hitting below the belt or a rabbit punch or something like that. Like it's outside of the rules, but I don't call a guy a cheat because he does it. I would just call him a dirty fighter. Whereas if the gloves are loaded or something, I would think that was actually cheating. And I don't know that to be the case. And I don't know how the hell they're supposed to prove it. And so unless they can prove it, I'm not going to say it.
I'm gonna say this.
Was that a yes
Which
or a no?
one
Then?
was it? Like,
Was it a
which one
yes or
was
no about the right? But if you're asking me, do I believe that he had loaded gloves? I don't actually believe or disbelieve it. I just go with I don't know and I don't care enough to actually engage my belief system when it comes to it. Like I don't know. If you can prove it, cool. Otherwise, I don't know. That's it. Like when it comes to the manipulating of the glove or whether or not there's padding in the gloves, like I feel like that's pretty conclusive that the padding in horsehair gloves moves around in fights and that there's enough evidence just to show that there was padding in different parts of his hand during different parts of the fight. But who cares? Like really, if guys are going to allow horsehair gloves in negotiation and say that you can use it, then that's what you should expect. At this point, like that's not some great conspiracy to me.
I'm gonna just ask anyone
All right,
this
so I
if
just
they
want to say
believe in
this. I just want to
Glovegate.
say this.
Hey, hold up.
So
I'm
hold
gonna
on,
ask this one question.
hold on.
Like, what is it? Is the
Hold on.
is the
Ask your
hand
question in a
in
minute.
the
I just want to
glove,
clarify
or is
something.
the glove
Hell
loaded?
dog, we're talking over each other.
No, you're
Look,
talking over
so
me.
get this smoke. Basically, get this smoke. What you're saying is you're an atheist when it comes to his gloves.
I don't know about atheist. Atheist says that you don't believe it, right? So it's more like an agnostic.
No,
I don't know.
no. It's you.
It's
Atheist,
agnostic.
you
An
don't
atheist
believe.
says that it doesn't exist.
Well, yeah, you're right. You'd be agnostic when it comes to his gloves. You're right.
Well, that's unless your belief or disbelief is a religion. I don't know though.
Hey, but I'm gonna ask this: was the hand and the wrist portion of the glove, like the floppy glove theory, was the padding removed, or was there a metal object in there? Because you can't have all three.
Yeah. I was
I've been
actually
saying
watching. I was
Who-
actually watching a one of these Wilder fanboy streams, and basically, they all three of them had separate beliefs and ideas on how Wilder or on how Fury cheated. One group of people said, one person said there was an object in his hands. Other people were saying, well, the padding was removed. Other people were saying that it was an issue with drugs. And I mean, there's just no consensus on what he actually did.
You know what? It all makes sense to me now. Hey, IBT or whoever has a computer, was a Morning Star created in England? It's the weapon that has the metal handle, the chain, and the ball at the end of it. Where was that weapon created? Get to a point, because I believe it was England. Anyways, it don't fucking matter. Pretty much what y'all are saying is, I'm going to combine them all three together. What Tyson Fury did was he removed all the padding, put a weight in the end of the glove, and then put his hand at the strings of the glove so he could create a Morning Star and just wave around a weight.
Wait a minute, though. But they say that his fingers were in the knuckle area and that you could see in between his fingers.
Yeah, listen, and you know, the metaphor about God actually is apropos here. Like, if you want to believe that God exists, cool. If you want to believe that God doesn't exist, cool. I don't think you can prove either one of them. So what the hell are we talking about when it comes to proof?
Don't forget about the legs. That's what Wilder said. That's the most important. He said his legs were out. And the Jesus juice also.
But look, this is what I'm wondering about, man. If there was a metal object in his gloves, like they were loaded, you wouldn't be able to see the fucking knuckles. If the padding was removed, you wouldn't be able to have a metal object. If the glove was floppy, you couldn't really have fucking metal in there, or the padding removed, because your fist is already not in the padded section. Like, which one is it? To me, it just seems like these guys are making these things up for views, and I'm actually doing a social experiment. I'm making a video under a fake account that's going to have some Glovegate theory, and I'm going to see how many of them actually agree with it. And then when it's done, I'm releasing the video explaining how it was all bullshit, and I just wanted them to agree with me.
Yeah, that's cool. But you can also, someone can do that on the flip side, showing how it isn't true. Like, it doesn't mean anything. All you're doing is messing or like antagonizing guys who believe shit that nobody can prove.
That's kind of the whole point.
Yeah, but check this out. What's the main reason that they say that his gloves were loaded? Some metal object, right? Because why? Because he had knots all over his head, right? Or a dent. Don't you think that could be also done by headbutts? Has anybody ever fucking thought about that? Headbutts.
Right. So I think from my understanding is there was not just the hole in his head, the dent in his head. There was also a doctor's comments, right? And I think it's a totality. I don't know. Like, here's the thing. And here's where it boils down to, right? For me, and just me, right? If the doctor comes out and says, yes, what Deontay Wilder's brother said I said is actually the case, I don't think that these injuries that I treated were consistent with boxing, right? And it turns out that physician has experience dealing with boxing injuries, then for me, I take a clinician's point of view to it, not just what fans are saying about other fans saying beliefs. Like, for me, I am about the clinicians and then also the safety of fighters. Even if what the doctor says is true, doesn't mean that his gloves are loaded, right? It doesn't mean that you can prove that his gloves were loaded.
Yeah, no, and another thing too is the way you ask a doctor. You can ask a doctor, "Hey, doctor, these knots that he has on his head, can these be given by punches with the boxing gloves?" He might say no. In my opinion, no. But what about headbutts? You know what I mean?
Yeah. So
they might not be done with a glove, but headbutts, yeah.
Right. So then the issue would be, do I don't remember seeing a headbutt like that. I can go look at it, but I don't remember seeing them clash heads like that.
Oh, they always man. There's always clash of heads. Some more severe than others. Even small little headbutts, they don't react to them.
Yeah, I mean, they were in the clinch for a lot. They were in the clinch for a lot during the fight. So I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, man. I was actually gonna do a video and go and look at the whole fucking fight and see how many headbutts I can count. Because think about it, these guys are fighters, right? You know how many headbutts when they're fighting and clinching, a whole shitload of them. It's just that some are stronger headbutts than others. Small little ones, they probably just push it off and try to keep fighting. They're fighters. That it happens.
Yeah, I mean, you definitely have to get you'd have to get specific. I do think that headbutts are consistent with boxing, but I think that it warrants the specific question: what about headbutts, right? Because who knows? It maybe boxing, right? Yeah, don't know.
Yeah, but I don't know. These guys are big. You know what I mean? So
Hey,
I'll say this, man.
Those dents. Go ahead.
These guys are opportunists, man. Pushing this whole glove gate thing. They're doing it for views. And the fact that they're pushing out multiple theories, which cannot be, true with each other. Like, they can't all be true. They can't be true in combinations. It's pretty much one, they're mutually exclusive events.
But they really aren't. But they really aren't.
No, but you know what?
All of those things that they're saying about the gloves and him being wrapped, like all of it actually could be true. It could actually be true that even his costume weakened his legs. Like literally everything that they said could be true.
So do you think the glove could be floppy, the padding could be removed, and there could be a metal object in there?
Well, I don't know about removed, right? I don't know how you would remove the pad. You could remove the padding from the knuckle area, but not from the glove altogether.
But that's what I mean.
I gotta say one thing though, like, you can cause serious damage to somebody's face even without loaded gloves. I mean, look at Edison Miranda versus Arthur Abraham. Those are two middleweights, not heavyweights. It's not like there has to be some type of pad removal in order for damage to the face like that to occur.
Whoa!
Look at Margarito's face against Pacquiao. Margarito's face.
Bro, look at Cal Brook.
That looked like somebody took an axe to it.
Like, what about Cal Brook? I mean, his face was fucked up, right?
What about it, right? I mean, right. So are we saying that a broken orbital bone isn't consistent with boxing? Like, I don't know that the doctor is the same doctor that did Triple G. Like, I think a bunch of the stuff becomes a deflection. I believe I think that some of this stuff are deflections to actually to bolster your own conclusions. It's circular logic, right? But that's cool. Like the thing is, it's not since for me, like I said, I don't know that you can prove or disprove whether or not he had something loaded in his gloves, right? But what I think we can prove, what we can say, is that a clinician who is a professional can say whether or not, in their experience, his injuries are consistent with a boxing match.
Okay, so the only thing
can I piggyback? Oh, I'm sorry. Who was talking?
No, you got it, man.
All right, let me piggyback off what you just said. Get the smoke, all right? So he would have saw that doctor sometime after the fight, all right? So it's been a long time since he got his MRI or a CAT scan, whichever they did. Either one would be effective with bone to see if there's some type of damage to it, a skull depression. So if that be the case, right, there is no way in hell they will be scheduling a third fight. There is no way in hell Deontay Wilder and his team would even entertain it going this far for a third fight to happen. If there was any true doubts on that side about them gloves being legitimate, especially with metal objects being in there, this would have been shut down a long time ago. If the doctor had anything to prove it, this would have been shut down a long time ago. And there would probably be criminal charges going against Fury if that be the case.
Hey, Tony, the Blue Blood also said, who was the guy who released this info before any of this happened, that Wilder was a couple punches away from losing his life. If that is true, then he will be in no shape to fight for a long time, because you don't recover from a near-death experience where someone bashed you in the head without some sort of minor brain damage or a severe concussion, you know?
Yeah, the issue, though, is that brain trauma doesn't work like that. It's not like you just pick it up on an MRI, right? We already know that about brain traumas. Whether or not those guys, whether or not he is released to fight right now, if he's cleared medically to fight,
Actually,
I don't know. To me, that is a different issue, right?
You could see that though.
Say again?
No,
You
no,
could,
no,
in
no,
CAT
no.
scans, you could see
No.
hemorrhage in the brain.
Well, no, a
Right,
CAT
but
scan.
you can have brain traumas that CAT scans don't pick up. That's what I'm
Well,
saying.
wait.
You can have that you actually cannot detect, right? But the other part of it, but let me just finish. The other part of it is somebody brought this up today. Like, who's to say that Wilder's team didn't injure him after the fight, right? Like this idea of he's going to be able to prove it beyond any reasonable doubt. That's never going to be a thing. I don't even know that he's going to be able to prove that it was more likely than not, right? In his civil case, right? So like this idea about how you're going to prove it, and based on his trauma and all his anecdotal stuff, it's circumstantial. Fine. I mean, it's good to talk about, and it's good to it's an academic conversation, but it doesn't show one way or another whether or not the dude got actually injured and whether or not he actually intentionally tried to injure the guy, like, loaded his gloves. Like, we're not going to find this out. That's all my point.
Listen to what I'm saying, though. I wasn't talking about his brain. What his brother said was he had a dent in his skull. What that's called medically is a skull depression. That's what it's actually medically called. How do I know? Because this is what my degree's in. This is my field. This is what I do. So MRI will most definitely, not a CAT scan. A CAT scan's better because it's x-rays pretty much, whereas MRI is magnets. So a CAT scan is good for bones. That's why I said that it could have been a CAT scan that saw the dent or the skull depression, or they could have done an MRI. However, MRI is very good at seeing the brain, especially if they put metal dye in it, which they most definitely would do with a brain injury, so they could really get a good picture at what's going on with his skull and his brain. Injuries come from
the only issue with that, though, is that we actually have, it's not outside of the sport. Like the brain trauma and brain injuries are bigger than the sport of boxing. So the sport, they actually have the science out there about what they can do and what they can't do. And CTE is it's actually like sort of a newly and underdeveloped field, like even diagnosis, right? So they don't have the equipment or the science behind it just yet. It's still a burgeoning field of medicine.
All right, here's what I want to ask, though.
Hold on.
Can I ask you a question?
Stop talking for a minute. Hold on. If he had a skull depression, again, that is the medical term for a dent in his head, they most definitely can tell that. They most definitely will either have a CAT scan showing the skull or the cranium, or they will have a MRI showing it. Most definitely. There is no getting around that if it was really there. Hold on, let me finish. Number two, he went to the hospital directly after the fight, which means all fluid buildup, all swelling of the brain, the hemisphere of where it would have been damaged would all show up because he's getting it done immediately after the trauma. So this whole notion that you're saying that they wouldn't know how much damage was inflicted is not true at all. That is very untrue. Let me finish. Get the smoke. You brought up a good point. If they looked at it and they diagnosed that there is no way a boxing glove could cause a depression like what was caused on him, then they would release that. They would have that. And that is proof something had to have happened that was funny business going on in the ring. If they can prove that, they can start a case. If they can start a case, there's no way in hell they're going to do a third fight.
Bro, okay, here's what your issue is. Here's the issue. Just hold on a second. Hold up. I'll be real fast. First off, whether or not they can determine whether or not there's some injury that occurred equals they can determine the extent of the injuries are two separate arguments, right? I was talking about the extent of his injuries, not whether or not he has a skull depression, right? So we can find out whether or not he had a skull depression. Definitely. And that can be part of the evidence, right? But that doesn't equal, because he has a skull depression, all of a sudden you're going to get a case. Because I can tell you that Margarito did not get an Tipton murder case for having plaster hand wraps. Hasim Richardson thought he was going to have one, but that's not what happened, because that's not actually what happens in boxing matches. You don't get people who are cheats and then all of a sudden they have criminal cases afterwards.
Hold on.
Nah,
Yes, you
Tony,
do.
hold on, hold on, hold on. My turn.
Wait.
Hold on,
Let
that's
me
my turn.
respond to that.
Hold on. Let me talk.
Nah,
Hold on.
let Tony respond. Let
Yeah.
Tony respond. He got
Hold on.
something
You
good to say.
most definitely do get criminal cases. There was a boxer who got caught with loaded gloves, and this is the reason why inspection's the way it is. What the fuck was his name? It was an Irish dude from like New York.
I know exactly what you're talking
Mick,
about.
What his name was like McNeely. I think it was McNeely.
No.
What was
McNeely
his
is a
name?
Tyson opponent.
And it was a Spanish guy that did it, that got caught by his dad in the ring.
Yeah.
What was
Billy Collins Jr.
There it is, Billy Collins. You're right. It was Collins. I knew it was some Irish guy.
Hey,
Billy
Tony,
Collins Jr. Was that in America?
Yeah, that was in New York.
Yes. It's
New York,
the reason
Billy
why.
Collins, let's check
Hold
it
on,
out.
get the smoke. That fight right there is the reason why they go through what they go through now for glove inspections. That's what that was the catalyst to it. Now, as far as Margarito goes, Margarito was never caught after a fight with loaded gloves. He was caught before he even walked into the ring attempting to load his gloves. It is hearsay, hypothetical speaking, that he had loaded gloves when he fought Cotto the first time. You have
I'm not talking about Cotto. I'm not talking about Cotto. I'm talking about when he got busted. I'm saying when he got busted. When he got busted.
No, you can't get him for something that did not happen.
Bro, what he got busted with, what I'm saying to you is, you're saying that the only criminal case charge is if you get busted after the fact. What I'm saying is, you don't have to murder somebody. You can do attempted murder, and you can show intent, right? You can show intent you can show depraved indifference. There's any number of charges that you can level against a guy that drops if they're going into a fight. All of a sudden, the plaster of Paris drops on the floor or on the table or wherever the hell it dropped, right? It's not zero sum game.
No, just hear me out. What you're wrong about is I could get my fucking hands wrapped in front of you, loaded as fuck, and I will not get convicted for attempted murder until I swing that punch at you. I have to have intent to kill. At the point of me doing it to my gloves, you can say whatever you want to say. Yeah, if I would have got in the ring, it would have been attempted murder. But until I do it, until I swing, I could point a gun at you, but until I pull the trigger, it's not attempted murder. It's only attempt when I pull that trigger and the bullet misses you. If it hits you, it is murder. If you live, it's attempt. If my gloves are loaded and I'm caught beforehand, I did not attempt to murder you because I have yet to do anything towards you.
Okay, you're going with the attempted murder charge. Again, what I'm saying to you is there's a number of other infractions that aren't attempted murder. Right? That's what I'm saying. This is a criminal. If you're talking about criminal activity, if you're saying the only criminal activity is swinging a loaded glove, then I would posit to you then the laws need to be looked at and changed, because it seems to me that someone with the intent to step into the ring with the loaded gloves would also be against the law. It's Naseem Richardson thought it was.
It's not.
I got it, and that's my point to you. Because a doctor says it's inconsistent, you may think that they have a case to do that, but that is up to the DA to say if there's enough horses in that argument. Not you and I talking about it conjecturally right now. You know.
What I'm
trying to explain to you is
to jail for attempted murder of Get the Smokes boxing debate career, because I got a killer point right here, man. So if they cannot determine the extent of the brain injury, how come they could determine that he was a few punches away from dying?
Okay, who is they? Blue Blood? Are you saying Blue Blood is a doctor? Dude, like, get out of here with your bummy arguments. Just stop it. Just stop. I know you said blue. What you said is Blue Blood said he was You said Blue Blood said he was a couple of shots away from losing his life. Great. That's Blue Blood's opinion. If you want to keep going back and forth with boxing fans about their opinions, knock yourself the hell out. But that's not what we're talking about.
Let me do a logical question.
You kind of assume though that Blue Blood actually got his information from real doctors.
No, but
who assumed that? Then that's on you. If that's what you're assuming, if that's what your assumption is, that's on you.
Hold on. Let me ask a logical question, because we can get rid of the doctors, we can get rid of the legality, we can get rid of all that. Let me ask you, Smoke, an honest question. If me and you fight, right, and you find out after the fact, you know without a doubt, because you have an X-ray, a CAT scan, an MRI, and the doctor tells you there's no way I punched you with a boxing glove, my gloves were loaded. If you knew without a doubt that I had loaded gloves, but you lacked the proof to prove it in court, would you fight me again?
I don't, if would I
Exactly.
fight you again? I don't know. I'm not even in that position at all. And regardless of what I would do, what the hell's that got to do with what Wilder's doing?
Because no human being, get the smoke. If you fought me, beat my ass, and I knew you had loaded gloves, but I couldn't prove it, I would never fight you again because I know you're going to try to do the same bullshit. I'm not going to step in there with somebody with fucking metal in their gloves for a third time.
But that's why
Bro,
you ain't.
listen, I'm not saying that what you're saying is not the case. I'm not saying what you're saying isn't wise and that a lot of people wouldn't agree with you, but that literally has nothing to do with Wilder. Absolutely nothing.
All right,
But
get
it
the
has to
smoke
do
for
with
the good
logic.
point. Nah, bro, you can't just assume everyone's going to think the same way as you. There are anomalies. And when you become the heavyweight champion of the world, chances are you're an anomaly. You know, you're not
the
like
fuck
the
outta
majority of
here.
everyone, bro. But I'm going to be honest, if someone gives me a logical statement and they say, yeah, so do you think Tyson Fury would do this? Hell no, because mentally, I know where Tyson Fury is at, you know? We can't just assume everyone is going to think the same way. But I'm gonna say this, man. Like the doctors allegedly said he had a dent in his head that couldn't be caused with in a boxing match or whatever, and that he was a couple punches away from dying. So how has he recovered in time to be fighting within this year? Like, shit
Well,
just ain't adding up.
well, not only did he come a couple punches away from dying, he actually did die. They got this information from his autopsy report.
That's a good point.
Yeah. We've this entire conversation was pointless because the third fight will never happen. He's 6 feet underground, and we'll never see him fight
I'm gonna
again.
be honest here. This is my new theory, man. It's called Moneygate, bro. Wilder is not even alive, and they're trying to sell some fight between Fury and a hologram to get more money, bro. First of all these
Typical Bob.
videos we're seeing on Wilder's Instagram are pre-recorded. They're holograms, bro. Wilder has been long dead.
This is typical Bob Arum, just absolutely milking a fighter beyond their lifespan. And this is why I just want to take a moment to say, rest in peace, former WBC champion Deontay Wilder, the king. Sorry, the queen has fallen. Rest in peace.
And if you want to talk
You know
about
what?
that,
You know what? I know I'll let you guys get back to your jokes, but I just wanted to say I think there was a guy who was in the rankings that was dead.
Yeah, that happened with the what sanctioning body?
Yeah, that was Ali Ramey.
Ali Ramey. Yeah.
Ali Ramey is so good that even when he was dead, he was ranked because
And
they
they-
knew the power of his spirit alone was enough to be in the top 10 of any weight division.
They had to like really make a big apology to his family and stuff. They're like, we just, it was a lapse of thought. And
Ali Ramey is so good that Sergey Kovalev at 175 ducked him, and he was a minimum weight to flyweight.
That's a good fact, but what I'm
Hey,
saying
but-
is, look, Wilder
that
has
dude that
been long
dude that
dead.
that dude that said autopsy though. I mean, I don't know how nobody like is talking about that. Either when you say autopsy, either there's two things: either he's lying or he's an idiot.
All right, and hey, since you guys are Americans, can you explain some terminology to me, man?
I mean, like, listen, neither Wilder brother.
Hey, but can you guys explain some terminology to me? Because I don't listen to hip hop, and I'm not
He's not a
American.
hip-hop.
No, I don't listen to hip hop, bro. I don't listen to rap or any of that stuff. But what are the ops? Is that like the police or something? Because apparently Tyson Fury was working with the police to bring Wilder down.
What on earth? What are you talking
Probably like informants or something. I think in
Hold
something.
on, Marcellus Wilder Instagram. Let me get this up.
Yeah,
Here.
ops are like informants.
He said, on your own team will do anything for the hate/money to help them ops take you down. So, like, this is
The
what I
ops
don't
is probably the
understand.
opposite.
Yeah, the opposition.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Because I
Yeah.
keep thinking that now they're accusing the police of working with Fury, and I'm just thinking like,
The
bro,
cops.
how was Fury working with the police to bring Deontay? Like, bro,
Well, the ops don't just refer to like police. They can actually refer to like any sort of public authority. So I mean, they could be like Bob Arum or some promoter or somebody at the helm of the event. Not
but
necessarily.
that's not a public authority. A public authority is someone who
Nah,
works
it's
for the
not
government.
opponent.
I'm
Uh,
pretty sure.
yeah.
Operative. Operative is what it's short for, and it could be, you know, somebody planted in there. It could be a snitch. It could be
Exactly.
Hey,
So
no,
like
all
it could be
types of
military or something.
A mule.
So it could be the military, like a special operative in the military.
Yo, Deontay Wilder was actually under MK Ultra.
Hey, listen, everyone's laughing at me. I don't know all this American slang. I don't listen to hip hop, so I don't stay up to this, man. Like,
slang such as opposition.
Okay, it actually doesn't take that much to just a cursory understanding of English should clue you in to Marcellus and Deontay Wilder are not these great practitioners of the language. So the fact that they would be using misnomers is no great surprise to me, but apparently all of a sudden they're English scholars. Or they're lying. That's it. Cool.
bro,
Whatever. Knock yourself out. Have a good
I
time.
thought by the ops he was talking about like the cops.
Yeah, but no, where
he
would he
wanted
get
to
that word
shorten it.
autopsy from, though?
Dude, this whole time
Man,
I was
do
thinking
you
that he was
understand?
accusing
Do you
the
understand
police
the
of
amount?
working with Fury.
Dude has been murdering the English language, but his brother has been murdering English language the entire time. I don't know Marcellus well enough, but that whole autopsy thing makes me think the apple hasn't fallen far. Like those dudes may have educated hands and feet, but not so much with the formal, with the the 3 R's.
I
Yeah,
would
I'll
consider
Yeah,
take
so
Wilder
hold
as
on.
educated.
Hold on. So that's what I'm saying. Either they're making stuff up when they're using the word autopsy, like, you know what, let's fucking just make it up, or they're idiots. Because if you're gonna put out a statement like
No, but you can misuse a term. Like, listen, you can murder the language and not be an idiot.
think you would use the correct terminology. He tried to use every other correct terminology, but the main one, autopsy.
Raider,
Yo,
yeah,
Raider, you sound like you on a
but
megaphone.
the thing
Like,
about
what the fuck is
idiocy,
going on? This gonna turn into like some fucking Spanish song. Like,
Bro, why
where's
is
you get the
everyone
megaphone
thinking?
from?
Talkie.
Bro, everyone thinks I'm on shrooms. I thought the ops was the police, man.
wait, L Dog, sorry, 1 second. Raider, sounds like you put a walkie-talkie in front of your mic. I don't know what happened. Like you're communicating through walkie-talkie.
Oh, is that right? Hold on.
No, you're good. You're good now. Whatever you did right now, it's good.
Yeah.
Oh, my bad.
Just move it, man. I don't know.
L Dog, you can go now. Sorry.
So, hey, listen, I'm sorry, guys. I don't know what the ops meant. Like this whole time, I've legit been thinking that Marcellus Wilder was accusing the police of trying to get,
The official
Deontay
government
Wilder.
authorities are conspiring.
No, what he was trying to say is that Fury had people planted in his camp, in Wilder's camp, that were against them.
L Dog
Okay.
actually does understand.
Yeah, that's where the Jesus juice, the poisoning came in.
You see, L Dog actually does understand this, and he listens to 1990s gangster rap, but he's just pretending to not know it for the entertainment.
Bro, I don't listen to rap
Yeah,
music. I seriously don't. The
it's
last
actually
rap,
very weird, and I'm not sure why you think that he is speaking rap language. Like, why is that your assumption?
well, I mean, the
Smoke
ops.
crazy.
Like, well, let me read it out to you, and you decide. You know it's
This
crazy
hip-hop
when you
language is,
they gotta do everything that's underneath real to figure out how to stop you. And the most wicked shit about is people on your own team will do anything for the hate/money to help them ops take you down. Like,
That
bro,
says a lot about society.
It is American slang, though. Like, it's not a very popular terminology in other countries.
that's what I'm saying, bro. Like,
Yeah, but
I've
where'd you
never
get that?
heard
Great,
someone talk like
right. So
this.
of
Yeah,
all the
where'd you
things
get
that
that
could be,
hip-hop
of all of the different things, exactly. Why do you go to I don't know hip hop?
But,
So what if
hey,
you don't know hip hop? Wait,
'cause
hip hop has nothing to do with your ignorance right now.
hey, listen, man.
Basically, like I said, to roll off this topic, all he was saying was there was somebody planted in his camp, and
Like a
that's how they brought
detective.
him down. Yeah, there was a detective planted in their camp,
Ah, okay.
and
So
he
it's the
detected
FBI,
everything.
not the police.
Hey, hold on. I wasn't laughing at you. It was just funny, when you said hip hop. I don't understand this hip hop language. That was funny.
Because that's look, a
Yeah,
lot
like what
of
the hell are you talking about, dude? Like, really? Are you just trying to call a dude black? Is that what's happening? Like,
no, I'm
really, what are
saying
you
like
talking about?
slang music, bro. Like slang words. Like a lot of slang in America, at least from what I hear, is derived from hip hop culture. Like that's what I think anyway. But I
No,
don't
you're right.
understand a
You're
lot of the
right about
slang.
that.
Yeah,
A
I don't
lot of
think
it
it's
is
like a racial thing. It's
hip
just
hop. Yeah.
culturally where like slang or Ebonics kind of come
Yeah,
from.
like a lot of the stuff I hear people saying, like no cap.
Ebonics does
It took
not
me
come from hip hop.
forever
Like,
to
okay, so
figure
this
it
No,
is
out.
I
so
said
basically all of you guys are ignorant. Okay, so let me
no,
just break it
no.
down for
I
you.
said
Ebonics has absolutely
no.
nothing to do with hip hop.
I didn't say
I
Okay,
think you're
so
reading too much
pop
into this,
culture
Get the
or
Smoke.
I said or.
Well, at least you
the
didn't
two
say
things aren't linked.
hold on.
Actually, the two things are not linked.
That's why
Hip
I
hop
said
and
or and
Ebonics
not
are not
and.
linked at all.
That's why I said or, as in the other option being.
Right. So I'm not okay. So we've boiled it down to what he's talking about is opposition, and it has absolutely nothing to do with Ebonics, American slang, or hip hop.
Yeah, he thought that he said that's what he believed it was, and that's why he was confused. But now that we've clarified it, he understands.
At least he didn't say I don't understand this bow wow wow UPA UPO language.
God.
Bro, here's the thing. A lot of what I hear, when I listen to Errol Spence, I gotta Google some of this shit sometimes. Like just to figure it out. Like especially with Tank Davis and that.
Oh man.
Yo,
awesome.
I like Tank Davis. I'm probably one of the only people on this panel that thinks he's extremely talented. I think he's his own worst enemy. I think if he was more dedicated, he would be a pretty unstoppable force off his own natural attributes.
I actually agree with you.
But with that being said,
hold on real quick. Hold on. I'm gonna use D. Jefferson's famous words. Tank Davis has been playing on easy mode if it was an arcade game.
Nah, I ain't buying that, man. Because to be honest, when he fought Pedraza, that's actually pretty impressive. To be honest.
Yeah, Pedraza was a legit champ, and he beat him. My main issue with Tank is that afterwards, his competition started to regress, kind of, and I think he's starting to step it back up now. His last performance, he did not look particularly impressive.
I blame it on Mayweather. Mayweather's doing the same shit to him that happened to Adrian Broner. Same fucking shit. And then what's going to end up happening is because Tank's going to be on such an easy road, they're going to drop him in there with somebody hard, and he's going to get overwhelmed because he had it easy for so long. He's not going to know what to do when he's drugged into the deep waters.
Exactly.
I think what it is Mayweather is the worst person to be around if you are very talented. He does not want to see you shine brighter than he did. I would never be around Mayweather if I was a fighter.
Yeah, well, I think the reason why Tank is kind of in the position he is because I honestly do feel like he was brought up and brought to the limelight a bit too quickly. I mean, I feel like Floyd sort of brought him into I'm not very articulate, so I may not put this in the way I want to, but I feel like he brought him along too quickly and brought him into the stardom sort of position a bit too quickly and paid him too much.
Oh, you're talking about stardom.
I think really what it
right of opponents, right?
Yeah, the issue really is some people get hate and some people get passes, right? So Tank doesn't deserve all the praise that he got too early, and other guys do deserve all the praise they get too early, regardless of who they fight. Right? If what the issue with Tank is, he didn't fight Berchelt, he didn't fight Tevin Farmer, and he didn't fight Lomachenko. That's really all this is about. You can talk about the people he did fight and how he looked in those fights, but really, ultimately, this is about the fact that he didn't fight those three dudes.
No. That's not where I was coming from. What I'm coming from.
No, not you. I'm just saying in general, the backlash against Tank, these anti-Tank thing is that, like, I get what you're saying, and I'm actually agree with what you're saying, and I've said it that same thing and that same sentiment myself, right? But that isn't. But what we're saying doesn't actually encompass the amount of vitriol directed in Tank's direction.
I'm gonna be honest. I just dislike Tank. I don't care what he does.
At least you say that, and to an
I'm a
extent,
hater, bro.
and to an extent, for now, I am a hater. For now, I do think he has talent. I'm just constantly disappointed by his actions outside of the ring. And when I think, okay, well, at least I can look forward to what he does in the ring, I don't enjoy it. So it leads me to a weird spot where I'm like, I'm not liking anything this guy's doing right now.
Well, I would definitely join Team Tank when he faces Ryan. Like, I'm Team Tank all the way. I'll buy Tank merch. I'll show up to the fight waving the Tank Davis flag ringside.
Yeah, definitely. That's a matchup between two people I'm not a big fan of. So it'd be a good fight, but I don't really have a horse in the race kind of thing. To me, Tank's not even a bad fighter. Like you said, the Pedraza fight was a good win. But afterwards, even Liam Walsh is okay. Fonseca's all right. Cuellar's not a bad fighter at all. I thought that was actually people kind of overlooked that he fought him.
Yeah, he won a title on that one, right? Against Cuellar.
Cuellar is all right. It was for a vacant title, and Cuellar won a regular title in the weight class underneath.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he won a title. Is what I said.
Yeah, okay, it's all right.
Yeah, the guy was at least relevant at super featherweight previously. So to me, that's like I can pass that one. Hugo Reese was a bad fight. The Nunes was a bad fight.
Gamboa.
Gamboa, I thought it was going to be a good fight for him, but he ended up looking, I don't know, average. I just was very disappointed by his performance considering the circumstances at hand. So
Yeah,
Hey,
but look,
hey, real quick, if Gamboa
this
would
is my
have had
thing
his
though.
two
I mean,
legs, if Gamboa would have had his two legs, that would have been a way more entertaining fight. I'll tell you that.
yeah, but you got to look at the state that Tank came to the scales. Like, this dude doesn't take this shit serious. Like, I'm telling you, I don't even know if when Tank goes into training camp, he truly trains. Like, he is so fucking overweight and bloated that it doesn't make sense.
Yeah,
And
he was a fat ass at
thing
136.
is,
He had a double chin at 136 pounds.
yeah, and the thing
How's
is,
this so
when we
funny?
see him in there, you're not even seeing 50% of what he could be. That's what's crazy about it.
Hey, I'm gonna tell you guys this, man. It might be worth putting some money on Leo Santa Cruz because Tank Tavis tweeted out, "I'm just about to start training camp," and I'm thinking, like, bro, what the hell have you been doing all this time? This guy's probably, he's probably weighed like 170 pounds.
Hey, I told you
Well, I'm
guys.
gonna tell you this right now.
Whoever
I'm
wants
gonna
to
tell
take
you my
that bet.
honest belief. If Tank actually goes down to 130, Leo will beat him. He'll be so weight drained, he'll be useless.
Oh my God. Tony just hit it on the head. That's what I've been saying. I've been telling everybody. if Tank makes 130, if he makes 130, then I'll bet anybody I got Leo on that fight.
Bro,
And
Tank
Leo gets
looks
shitted
like
on a lot
food
because of
at
Leo's
135.
lack of competition, but he's another guy that's got a lot of ability.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna lie though. I think putting a nice, say, $10 would probably make you 50 if Tank were to fight Leo.
It'll make it $24.
Something like that. Whatever.
That
So,
what?
I
Say it
mean,
again?
it's only like you get $2.40 for every $1 you bet on Leo.
Oh, you're talking about dude. That fight. I know my fucking gambling.
I think
That fight. I think
it'd be like 5-1 odds for Tank.
that is gonna probably be about plus 390 maybe for
No. I've
no
got the
minus
odds right
390
now.
minus 390 for Tank minus 390.
Really?
Yeah.
So it's like 250 to 1 odds.
No, that's not the way it works. It's like so the win like the favorite is gonna have a minus, right? So you would have to probably bet $390 to win $100.
Yeah, I know, like betting on Leo.
On Leo. So it's not always. So it's not minus 390 and plus 390. That'll probably put Leo at like a plus 255. So you bet 100, you get
Yeah,
255 back.
yeah.
I'm just saying that's what
I know.
I think though.
That sounds about right, Raider from LA. Because the odds I've got, like, the company does a little different down here, but let me try and find this real.
And I
quick.
have not even. I swear to God, I have not even looked at that fight at like the odds, Vegas odds. This is just from experience of many years of betting.
Here it is. So you bet $1 on Santa Cruz, you get $2.75 if he wins. And you get 44 cents on Davis if you bet $1. So yeah, that
See, yes,
sounds
I was
about right.
pretty good.
Huge.
That was plus 275 and minus $44 $440 then. So I was pretty
Hey,
close.
how's this, fellas, man? Clay Collard made me like $150 the other week, man. Cassius Clay Collard is one of my favorite boxers now, bro. This guy, I swear, every time I see him, right, against some prospect, he whooping their ass, man.
There's one prospect he couldn't beat.
Yeah, Malakuzia.
Don't talk about
But-
Lucas Brown when Intangible's here.
Yo, don't be disrespecting Lucas Brown, bro.
But I'm saying, like, Cassius Clay Collard, man, that guy, shout out to him. The odds makers are always putting some crazy fucking... Like, what was Top Rank even thinking setting that up? I looked up David Kaminsky, couldn't find anything on him. So I assumed, like, all right, this guy wasn't an amateur standout or anything. Like, what are they doing putting a 19-year-old against Clay Collard, you know?
Yeah.
Especially when he
Hey,
recently
how-
fought a
I can't wait until Clay Collard comes in and just obliterates Alexander Kishniak or something like that.
Oh, no.
Hey,
You're tripping
how about
there.
that dude's chin that Burchell fought?
Valenzuela, dude, I think it was just Burchell out of shape or just something, or maybe he doesn't punch as hard at 135, or he was just kind of taking steam off of his shots because that dude literally fought Zhou Shiming in his pro debut at flyweight. There's no way his chin carried up that much.
Dude,
Yeah,
that
I mean, it
fool
wasn't
was
just his
getting-
chin. It
that
wasn't
fool
just
was
his
getting
chin.
hit.
It wasn't just his
body,
chin. It was his
everywhere.
entire body. Like every part that he could hit, he got hit in and kept coming forward.
Yeah, imagine Tank fighting that dude. You would have to kill that dude.
I don't know. Maybe it's just Burchell's power hasn't carried out. I don't. Well, and it's
That
two
wasn't at
different. It's two
135,
sort of.
though. Was
That
that
was at
135?
135. Yeah,
What?
there was no belt on the line for that bout.
Think
And
about
that's
it.
really that's what I'd like to see. I would like to see I'd like to be in these TV exec meetings where Bob is trying to sell these championship fighters and these non-championship fights as as a fulfillment of his contract.
Yo, like, think about this though, man. He basically was having trouble getting rid of a Tanaka victim because Zhou Shiming lost to Sho Kimura, who lost to Tanaka. And he beat Valenzuela, however you say his name. So I just wanted to say that real quickly.
Yeah, but still, man. Even so, you said it was at 135. Burchell's power doesn't carry up at 135. It doesn't really matter because the other dude was fucking coming down from the smaller weights, anyways. You know what I mean?
That dude must have like a George Chuvalo chin.
So that fool's
Yeah,
chin, dude. He was getting hit
but that
hard,
dude, been stopped a lot. For a guy that's supposed to have a granite chin, he got a whole lot of stoppages on his record.
He's got 3
Zhou Shiming stopped him, I think.
out of 13 losses.
Maybe
My
Miguel Burchell is trash. And
my only thing I don't understand about this is this dude, like Burchell. I mean, Burchell fought him for what reason? Really, the fight ended up being a no contest because due to COVID-19 restrictions, there's no professional sport allowed in Mexico City. It was halted by the local government. So he didn't even get a win on his he didn't even get a
No
pad to his
contest?
record. Yeah, he did not even get to
just do
pad his
what John
record.
Porter did that one time and host like a live sparring session if you want to stay like ready or something. I don't know.
So basically he just partook in a public sparring session.
I'm trying to tell you, Bob Arum is at Mickey Mouse Studios right now. He's at ESPN compound talking about that was a championship fight. Give me my
Well,
money.
Hey, smoke. I
You know
get
how
what
they
you're saying.
faked
Man.
the moon
How is
landing,
how is
right?
Bobby How is Bobby selling these fights to the networks? Huh? Does no good negotiations must be good.
Yeah,
I'm
that's what I'm
telling you,
saying. He's
mate.
like, bruh, I see your contract and I fulfilled your contract. Where's my budget?
You wanna know my whole theory on this? Like, Al Heyman doesn't even exist. It was Bob Arum all along, and by this promotional divide, he's just building up the interest and all these different fights, man. Like, you know,
It's just
I
Bob
wouldn't be
Arum in
surprised
a
if
top hat.
ESPN doesn't even exist, and it was just Bob Arum. Like Bob Arum
No, he
is a
exists.
lot.
I seen him on a video.
I
He
used
does
to think
exist.
Sam Watson was Al Heyman.
I think we all did at some point.
Yeah.
Yeah, the thing is, I mean, if you watch boxing long enough, you'll see Al Heyman used to be in the sidelines. You can go back and watch fights, and you'll see him sitting there smiling and watching. He was at all of Paul Williams fights.
Bro, that was fake.
Yeah.
That's recently been edited by ESPN and
What if that was
AKA
just some
Top
guy
Rank.
that Arum hired to sit there and act like he was really Al Heyman?
Okay, so then who did they sue? So then who did Bob sue? He sued himself?
Yeah, to throw everybody off.
Nah, what about Oscar? Oscar sued him too.
Yeah, I'm saying like, and who was his other entity? Like, what it was Golden Boy when he was working at Golden Boy. It was really Bob Arum working at Golden Boy.
Yes.
Okay.
Bro, I'm telling you, Al Heyman doesn't exist. It's Bob Arum.
In a top hat.
Yeah.
With a monocle.
Look, the only promoter
what
I
I'll
know
say is,
outside of
what I'll
Bob
say
Arum
is
who
Bob.
exists is
I
Callum
think Bob
Sauer.
Arum would. Bob Arum has a healthy head of hair. That's what I'll give Bob Arum.
I mean, he's also, you know, he's also a legendary promoter. I mean, shout out to Bob Arum. Like,
He promoted Muhammad Ali.
yeah, he did, but
Yeah,
also
well,
he's
Muhammad Ali
Tyson
promoted
Fury
himself.
as a
The
hologram.
worst thing Muhammad Ali did was invite Bob Arum into his camp. All of a sudden, his company was gone. The management of his company changed things. Yes, sure, promoted Muhammad Ali.
Okay, guys. So I've enjoyed our conversation, but I do have to start wrapping things up now. If you guys have any final thoughts, I'll probably be going live again tomorrow, just so you guys know. But it's been great having you guys on. Who wants to start the final thoughts for the stream?
Shout out to the chat and the whole panel. I've been through. This has been quite a journey on this panel as through this entire 2-hour time span. I jumped on early after saying I wouldn't jump on. I was on here during a 3-mile walk I started going on, and now I'm back home. Absolutely sensational.
What a biblical journey.
Sam Watson is actually Al Heyman, and Miguel Burchelt struggled with a Tanaka victim. Have a good one, fellas.
All right. I guess I'll jump on next and keep the word of God going. I want to thank God for allowing the umbrella company to exist, because without the umbrella company, Deontay Wilder would have never been given the T virus and he would have remained dead. And now that he's back as a zombie, we can get that third fight with Tyson Fury. On that note, I am out as well.
I thought the umbrella company was a different one. I thought it was like the Rocket company. I don't know. I'm confused now.
No, it's Raccoon City. Maybe is how you're thinking.
Yeah, I think it was Raccoon City that did the T virus, or maybe it's a different company.
Raccoon City is where it took place, and then the company is the umbrella company.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll jump on. So, I came late, but, it's always lively. And it's amazing to me how right people think they are and certain of their rightness, even though they're totally fucking ignorant. And, but it is fun and entertaining. I hope that Luke and Ryan actually work it out and that fight does happen. And I can't wait for boxing to get back to some semblance of normalcy. Great stream, IBT. Keep grinding. Let's get these likes up, guys. Peace to the panel and chat.
Appreciate it, Smoke. Raider, L-Dog.
Yeah, I'll say this, man. It was a pleasure to be on here. We got some good fights that are being talked about. Hopefully they happen soon enough. It was, it's always a pleasure educating, get the smoke on boxing. He's learning slowly but surely, and I'll make sure when I can to keep dropping these truth bombs and helping him out and introduce him to the sport. Peace out, everyone.
And then, Raider, you're the last.
Yeah, man. No, thanks, Vampiro, for having me on. I started off a little messed up because I was kind of busy doing some shit. But thanks for having me on. Thanks everybody on the panel and everybody on the chat. Yeah, man. It's always good to have L Dog and Smoke go at it. L Dog in his hip hop language, But yeah, man. Hopefully we can get some boxing back, man, with some fans and all this Corona shit fucking goes away. You know what I mean? Because this thing is killing everything, man. Not just sports, just everything in general. Hanging around with your family and friends and from the sports, boxing, everything. But hopefully everything gets back to normal and everybody just fucking push through, man. And that's it. Roll with the punches and we'll get it. Get it. So catch you guys on the next one, man. Peace out.
Yeah, peace out. And then, yeah, thank you everyone for coming. I appreciated it a lot. I thought everyone on the panel was real cool. We had some nice discussion. Appreciate everyone in the chat chilling there too. I know we had quite a lot of people, or at least a lot for me normally. But I really enjoyed it. And I'm glad that I went live today. I'm going to be going live tomorrow again. Just look out for another schedule. And if you're on Twitter or Hangouts or anything like that, let me know so we can. We got actual facts. Last minute. Hey, what's up, man?
What's up? All I gotta say is, man, thanks for having me on. And Intangible, if you have something to say, you better call somebody a clown. Call somebody a clown in their face. Don't call somebody a clown in the chat or after you come off. Just be a man about it, man. Just call somebody a clown in their face or here in the chat, here on the panel, and debate about it. Don't just say, oh, I'm not this, I'm not that. Don't gotta be like that. You know what I mean? So, yeah, man. Stay safe, man. All right? That's it. Thanks for having me on, brother.
Yeah, for sure, man. Thanks for coming on.
Mm-hmm.
And, yeah, basically, appreciate everyone coming. I'll be going live again tomorrow. I'll set up a, schedule live so you guys can hop in early or whatever. Great live, in my opinion. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the topics, and I'll see you guys another day. Peace.